Yeah, let's start, Satish. I think we have 40 plus members already in the call.
Okay, good evening, everyone. A warm welcome you all to the 9th episode of EPSM Conclave. It's an absolute delight to see you all present here, ready to support and cheer for the speakers. I am Satish Bachna, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Aparna Tiwari. We both are alumni of EPSM Batch 4.
This conclave is more than just a series of speeches. It is a celebration of growth, a testament to hard work, and a showcase of the incredible power of the human voice.
Public speaking is just another skill, not just another skill for the stage. It's a superpower that inspires, influences, and transforms the lives in every profession. So that's why you have chosen the topic for our speakers is the power of public speaking across industries.
From boardrooms to classrooms, communication shapes every outcome. Each speaker here you will hear today has a unique story and a valuable lesson to share on how public speaking has actually shaped their journeys. We are both thrilled to be hosting today, especially since exactly a year ago we stood right here as participants ourselves.
Before we go any further, it's my honor to introduce someone very special. She is the very reason we are all here with confidence today. A certified leadership coach and best-selling author, she was recently honored as the recipient of the Rashtriya Abhiman Puraskar 2023 for being India's leading transformational leadership coach and entrepreneur. She has a way of seeing the best in people and helping them find their voice. Let me share a screen to show her full credentials. I'm talking about none other than Yukti Kapoor Mandirata. She wears the crown of Gladrag Mrs. India runner-up and passionately works with the underprivileged to groom them into future leaders. Yukti has been recognized as most prominent contributor towards innovation 2023 by World Innovation Congress, top 10 most dynamic entrepreneur 2022 by India Today, Mumbai Women Leadership Award 2021 by World Women Leadership Congress, top 10 women startup CEOs 2020 by prestigious business publication called CEO Insights, National Women Excellence Award 2018 extended by Indo-European Chamber of Small and Medium Enterprises. Now you know you are with the safest hands on earth to learn public speaking from. Please join me welcoming the heart and soul of this program, Yukti Kapoor Mahindirata. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much, Satish and Aparna. Thank you for holding the fort for all of us. And thanks to everyone here in the room to join us for the celebration of real life transformations. What you're going to witness in the next few hours that we have together is what conscious learning looks like. How many of you are willing and interested to become a better speaker yourself? Say me in the chat if you think it would help you to become a better speaker and it'll help you to excel in your own space if you could learn how to speak with impact. How many of you would like to work on your public speaking skills. Wonderful. Juhi, iPhone, Sayan, Indiran, thank you so much for responding in the chat. Now, that's what brings you here to this room, isn't it? It's a continuation of the Executive Public Speaking Conclave that we initiated yesterday. And if you were there with us yesterday, Edmi and I took you through certain important aspects of public speaking. We talked about why public speaking is important. We talked about how people have created another exponential level for themselves in their own chosen field in their career just by learning how to speak with impact. And my story is no different. So as I open this demonstration of the power of public speaking, when you learn it consciously, I want you to get a little glimpse of the whole journey behind this event that I have walked. I mean, it has been a very tough journey for me. I was, we are Hindi speaking in the family. We all speak in Hindi still. That's our first language. And English is not alien to me, never was. But it was never a language that I would want to choose to converse with people. And it was working pretty fine till I was in a small Banasthali school next to my house, a neighborhood school. And in 6th grade, my parents made their dream come true. And gave me a nightmare in the process without realizing by putting me in a very, very big school where their first language was English. I was in the Army public school. And while I was still dealing with that change, I realized that by not putting my hand up and asking questions like I used to ask, by not engaging in conversations like I used to, I started losing my confidence. I realized that in that neighborhood school, it was okay to have 2-3 friends. It was okay to be invisible. But here, if I continue to be who I was, I will be lost. I realized I can't afford to stay invisible anymore. In one class, there were 50 students. And there were 12 sections in every grade. When we had to bunk school, I didn't have to leave the premise. You know what I'm saying? If you have to bunk your class, the school was so big, you could just be somewhere in some other block and no one can find you, not in the next 45 minutes, right? And by then your class is done. If that's how big the whole space was physically, you can imagine how difficult it must be to create that visibility for yourself as a student. And I realized early on in my life that if you are not visible, you don't get the opportunities, no matter how much you think you deserve them. This entire list of accolades that Satish and Aparna were reading for me is not something that I have gone seeking. It is something that has found me. Somebody out there could see me. And it's because of that visibility that they thought I deserved that recognition. Are you with me? Give me with you in the chat if I'm able to explain to you the importance of creating visibility for yourself. जो दिखता है वो बिकता है, पर हम जिस तरीके से ये सुनते हैं हमें लगता है इसमें कुछ गलत है. इसमें कुछ गलत नहीं है. ये this is a fact of life. If you're not visible to people, nobody is going to put in that effort to find you out, no matter how good you are. So what is it that you need to do to be successful, whether you're in your business or you're in your corporate career? I was with Citi and Barclays for over a decade before I plunged into entrepreneurship. And I realized that the success I have enjoyed in my career was also not just a function of my hard work. It was about knowing how to create visibility as much as it has to be backed with hard work and deep knowledge in your domain. But it's not everyone who has the knowledge that gets to shine. You need to know how to shine. And if there is one skill that can help you do that, that one skill which can get you that confidence, which can help you shine, it's public speaking. Now, let me tell you something very important about public speaking. I talked about it yesterday as well. Public speaking is one skill that you cannot learn passively. You cannot watch a speaker and learn how to speak. You've got to put yourself out there, like Emocha has done, like Agnideep has done, like Hemlata has done. Every single speaker who will take on the stage today is an achiever in their own space. But you know what they realized? They realized that if they add the power of public speaking to their ability to lead, it becomes their superpower. And that is what helps them to lead with that power. So if you are a seeker of exponential growth, if you desire that growth for yourself, please know that public speaking cannot be delayed, procrastinated, dodged for too long. The earlier you embrace this skill, by learning it actively, by learning it consciously, the easier it gets for you to keep hopping from one level to your next. That is what has helped me, not only in my corporate career, not only in my school, if I may start from there, to my corporate career, to today being an entrepreneur. It is a skill that every single leader has benefited from. And to be able to learn it, you need to remember the 3 M's. Can anyone tell me what the 3 M's are? If you were there with me yesterday, you would know the 3 M's. We talked about it yesterday. You need these 3 M's to master the skill of public speaking. What are the 3 M's? Nagaraj, you remember? Mentor, right, Aarti? Method and mastermind. Don't leak the paper, Satish, okay? You're not allowed to answer, right? You're co-hosting with me today. Absolutely right. You need to know the right method. You need to have a mentor who can give you personalized feedback. It's not generic knowledge. Personalized attention is needed for you to improve your speaking skills. And you need to have a mastermind, access to a community of like-minded people. Because public speaking is like net practice. You see, any good sports person knows that you don't just play when the tournaments are on. You play continuously, consistently, with discipline every single day. So that when you get that opportunity to play the tournament, you play your best game. Having a community where you can practice public speaking is your net practice. And then when you get an opportunity, you grab it with both your hands because you know you're ready. You're ready for it. And that readiness requires preparation. All these amazing speakers we're going to invite next on the stage have gone through methodical learning of public speaking in the last 12 weeks. They have put all their attention into learning how to become better speakers. With conscious learning, just for a couple of hours every week, they have put a lot of practice behind it to prepare themselves for this day today. So please don't sit there and judge how good they are as speakers, but because for that, we have amazing jury with us today. We have Tanvi, we have Sagar. Let them do that. You know what you and I are going to do? We are going to sit and make our notes. We are going to write down our observations. What are we learning from these speakers? What is it that I'm liking about the way Vinod is delivering that I need to bring into my skill set, my tool set? If I were you, that's how I would like to invest the next few hours we have together. So how many of you are ready with a notebook to make a note of your own learning from this program? Give me NB in the chat. Are you ready with a notebook? Give me NB in the chat. Wonderful. I want you to be very, very selfish today, right? Selfishly grab what you need to learn. Forget about what they need to improve. Because you know what? Even if I invite Tanvi on stage or myself, and I put it open for your feedback, I'm sure there'll be a few things you would want to highlight to bring it to our attention that we can improve upon as well. Of course, we need to. Every single speaker or a good speaker worth their salt know that there is no end to how much you can improve your game. There is no end to how much more impact you can put when you speak. And that's the whole fun. That's the fun ride we call as leadership, isn't it? So don't worry about judging the speakers. What I need you to take away is your own learning. Pay attention to the feed forward every speaker will get. So along with me, Tanvi and Sagar will be sharing a feed forward for every speaker. We are going to highlight a few important things about public speaking. Write it down, make a note of it. That's what you're here for. That's what's going to get you the most from the time that you're sharing with us today. So before I hand it back to our hosts, to Aparna and Satish, I want to once again thank each and every one of you for joining us here for the conclave and being a witness to what conscious learning and the right method, mentor, and mastermind can do for you. Thank you so much. Back to you, Aparna and Satish.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Yukti, thank you for being such a good mentor and a guide with whom we have also learned and we have come so far in this public speaking journey. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed jury members. They are here not only to evaluate, but actually provide invaluable feed-forward insights that will help our speakers grow and refine their skills. Each of them brings a wealth of knowledge and a perspective, making this session truly enriching for everyone. So let me first invite Ms. Tanvi Bhatt. Yeah. So we have Ms. Tanvi Bhatt, the personal branding pioneer in India. Tanvi is the founder of the India's premier personal branding company, where she empowers leaders to become icons. As a keynote speaker, she has addressed over 100,000 leaders at more than 400 events for global brands like LinkedIn, Deloitte, and KPMG, to name a few. A three-time TED speaker, she is a leading voice on everything from personal branding to the very art of public speaking. I welcome you, Ms. Tanvi, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. We will invite you later on for the feed forward, as well as sharing some tips and tricks for the public speaking.
Thank you so much.
So moving on to our next jury member, we have Mr. Sagar Amlani, one of the top professional speakers and a best-selling author. From the slums of Mumbai to the vice president's chair, Sagar's story is one of resilience and transformation. A LinkedIn top voice and a global Indian under 40. He empowers people with his signature framework to build a productive mindset. I welcome Mr. Sagar. Thanks for being here in this conclave. We will be looking forward for your feed forward as the speakers would like to see. And then we will be also hearing from you on the public speaking.
Thank you so much for having me here and best wishes to everyone.
Thank you. And finally, we welcome our beloved coach and mentor, Ms. Yukti Kapoor Mendireta, once again on this platform, because she is also going to give us the feed forward. As the founder and CEO of SBY Academy, she is a renowned leadership coach, TEDx speaker, and an award-winning entrepreneur. We are so honored to have such inspiring mentors with us today. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to the event.
Yeah. So over to you, Satish.
All right. The moment we all been waiting for is finally here. We have 7 brilliant speakers lined up, and everyone will share their personal journey of how public speaking transformed their life. After each speech, our jury will share 5 minutes of valuable insights.
And dear audience, your job is simple. Keep your cameras on, clap with emojis, and stay engaged. Even on Zoom, the energy is contagious. So please give a round of applause to all the speakers who are going to be lined up and they are going to speak today.
Yeah. Our first speaker today is someone who has truly built a life around his passion. Yeah. For over 16 years, Dr. Samir Mukund Paranjpe has been a leading voice in Ayurveda, guiding more than 10,000 patients. He's not just a healer, but also a teacher, guiding Ayurveda students in reciting Ashtanga Hridaya in flawless Sanskrit. He is also the celebrated author of the award-winning book, Nature's Path. Today, he is here to share a different side of his story, how public speaking helped him monetize his passion. Please give him a big round of applause. Dr. Samir. Over to you.
नमस्ते नमस्सभायै सभापतिभ्यश्च शतेषु जायते शूरः सहस्रेषु च पंडितः वक्ता दशसहस्रेषु दाता भवति वानवा। ये सूत्र है सदियों पहले संस्कृत में बताया हुआ और उसका एक अंश, उसका एक अर्थ है। अगर 100 लोग हैं उसमें से एक आदमी शूरवीर सिपाही बन सकता है, 100 में से एक। अगर 1000 लोग हैं तो उसमें एक आदमी पंडित विद्वान बन सकता है। लेकिन अगर 10,000 लोग हैं उसमें से एक आदमी वक्ता बनने लायक होता है, वक्ता बनता है। अगर आपके मन में पब्लिक स्पीकिंग या लोगों के सामने बोलने की कला अवगत करने की मनीषा भी आपके मन में आई हुई हो तो ऐसे आप समझिए कि 10,000 लोगों में से आप एक चुने गए हो। इतने खुद के लिए अच्छा महसूस करके हमें सबके सामने बोलना है, उसका मैं प्रयास कर रहा हूं। उसके पीछे मेरी एक स्टोरी है, मैं आपको वो बताने जा रहा हूं। क्या हुआ कि छोटा था, समझो ऐसे जूनियर केजी वगैरह कुछ होगा उस टाइम, मराठी में कुछ अलग बोलते हैं सब। फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड में, सेकंड स्टैंडर्ड में जो स्टूडेंट्स तिलक जी की जयंती होती है उसके बारे में कुछ स्पीच दे रहे थे और मेरी माँ के साथ में गया हुआ था और मैं अचानक जिद करने लगा माँ के पास कि मुझे भी इन बच्चों के जैसा जाके सबके सामने कुछ स्पीच देना है। और मैं जिद के लिए ऐसे रोना शुरू कर दिया मैंने। मेरी माँ भी मेरे से तंग हो गई कि इस बच्चे का क्या करे, कोई स्पीच इसको लिख के नहीं दिया हुआ, कुछ पढ़ाया नहीं इसको, और ये जाके कैसे बोलेगा। लेकिन मेरी माँ ने टीचर को बोला कि ये जो स्टूडेंट्स सब बोल रहे हैं तो मेरे बेटे को कुछ बोलना है सबके सामने जाके। तो मैंने जाके वहां 2-5 मिनट के लिए सबके सामने लोकमान्य तिलक जी के ऊपर कुछ भाषण दे दिया। अब ये जो प्रसंग है वो तो मुझे खुद याद नहीं, मेरी माँ ने वो बार 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 बाद में मुझे बताया हुआ प्रसंग है। और उस चीज का उपयोग मुझे कब और कहाँ कैसे हुआ उसके बारे में मैं आपको बताने जा रहा हूं। मैं डॉक्टर हो गया, बीएमएस हो गया, आयुर्वेदाचार्य हो गया, एमडी हो गया, लेकिन प्रैक्टिस मैंने शुरू की एक रिमोट प्लेस में, कोंकण में। एक छोटा सा गांव है जहां पेशेंट को एक छोटी सी नदी पार करके चल के आना पड़ता था, गाड़ियां दूर रख के। ऐसी रिमोट प्लेस में मेरा जंगल में क्लिनिक था और गुरुजी का आदेश ही ऐसा था कि जंगल में जाके प्रैक्टिस करो, इसलिए मैं वहां बैठा था। अब कुछ साल तक वैसी प्रैक्टिस चलती रही। माउथ टू माउथ पब्लिसिटी होने के लिए बहुत सारा टाइम लगता है और उसमें 10 साल चले गए। स्लोली प्रैक्टिस बढ़ने के लिए बहुत सालों तक तपश्चर्या करनी पड़ी। तब तक मैं लोगों के सामने नहीं गया था, सिर्फ चिकित्सा करता रहता था। कुछ 1,000 रुपये, 20,000, 25,000, 1 लाख रुपए तक मेरी गाड़ी ऐसे स्ट्रेच हो रही थी। 10 साल में उतनी हो गई। मेरी माँ ने एक दिन बताया कि अरे, आयुर्वेद का प्रचार और प्रसार करना है तो ऐसे घर में बैठ के ये काम नहीं होगा। लोगों के सामने जाके तुम्हें आयुर्वेद क्या चीज है, तुम कैसे कैसे अच्छे रिजल्ट्स दे पा रहे हो, लोगों को कैसे रिजल्ट्स आ रहे हैं, वो तुम्हें जाके मुखर होके जाके बताना पड़ेगा, विद कॉन्फिडेंस बताना पड़ेगा। और वो काम करने के लिए मेरी पहली इंस्पिरेशन मेरी माँ है। उस माँ ने वो मेरा बचपन का जो प्रसंग है उसके बारे में मुझे बता के मुझे बोला, जाओ अलग अलग गांव में जाओ, अलग अलग स्कूलों में जाओ, टीचर्स को मिलो और पब्लिक स्पीकिंग के लिए खुद को तैयार करो, भले ही उसके लिए तुमको आत्मविश्वास अगर कम पड़ रहा है, प्रैक्टिस करो। तो ये प्रैक्टिस के लिए ये प्लेटफॉर्म मुझे उसके लिए बहुत मददगार साबित हुआ। अलग अलग लोगों से मिलता गया, जो जो स्पीचेस मैंने अलग अलग स्कूल्स में, अलग अलग प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे ऑफलाइन जो मैंने पब्लिक स्पीचेस दिए, वो सब मैंने यूट्यूब पे भी अपलोड करने के लिए रिकॉर्ड कर दिए। अब यूट्यूब पे, इंस्टाग्राम पे, फेसबुक पे, सभी जगहों पे जो रिकॉर्डेड वीडियोस है वो मेरे सब लोगों तक पहुंचने लगी। और मेरा जो मिशन है, मेरा जो विजन है, मेरे गोल से कहा मुझे क्या करना है, किस चीज पे मैं काम कर रहा हूं, वो सब लोगों के पास वो पहुंचने लगा। I'm on mission to treat and transform 10 million middle-aged women above 40 years facing perimenopausal challenges with the help of holistic approach of Ayurveda to make them happy and healthy. वो जो मेरा मिशन है वो सबके सामने लेके जाने के लिए ये पब्लिक स्पीकिंग एक जरिया साबित हुआ। और वही सब स्पीचेस अलग अलग प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे उसके रील्स बना के, उसके पॉडकास्ट कुछ लोगों ने मेरे कर दिए, अलग अलग पेशेंट्स के साथ अलग अलग पेशेंट्स के वीडियो, बहुत सारा डाटा मेरे पास इकट्ठा हुआ जो यूट्यूब पे, फेसबुक पे, इंस्टाग्राम पे लोगों तक पहुंचना शुरू हो गया और मेरे पास नंबर ऑफ पेशेंट्स बढ़ने लगे। बीच में मैंने 2 बुक्स लिखे, वो भी लोगों तक पहुंचने के लिए इसके पब्लिक स्पीकिंग के का सहारा मुझे अच्छा मिला। और अब तक 1000 बुक्स लोगों तक पहुंच गई है। पब्लिक स्पीकिंग के थ्रू अलग अलग विषयों पे मैं ये सब बातें, मेनोपॉज के ऊपर, आयुर्वेद के बारे में, अलग अलग व्याधियों के ऊपर मैं बोलता हूं। और उसका एक फायदा ऐसा हुआ, जो वैद्य एक फॉरेस्ट में रहने वाला, कुछ हजार रुपए, कुछ लाख रुपए कमाने वाला एक वैद्य, महीने का 1 लाख रुपए कमाने वाला वैद्य महीने का 5-6 लाख रुपए कमाने लगा नंबर ऑफ पेशेंट्स बढ़ने के बाद। और लास्ट कुछ सालों से वो काम अच्छा बढ़ते जा रहा है। तो मैंने एक 1.5 1.8 सीआर तो ऐसे ही बना डाले, ये प्रैक्टिस करके और नंबर ऑफ पेशेंट्स बढ़ा के, और वो उसके लिए पब्लिक स्पीचेस दे के लोगों के पास आयुर्वेद का प्रचार और प्रसार करके ये काम हुआ है। और यही सब शास्त्र अलग अलग प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे और हमारे अलग अलग पेशेंट के सामने हम बोलते हैं, पेशेंट्स के रिलेटिव्स के साथ हम बात करते हैं। तो यही सब टेक्निक्स, क्लोजिंग के टेक्निक्स हो, बहुत सारे टेक्निकल चीजें, पेशेंट के रिलेटिव्स के साथ भी बोलने के लिए, पेशेंट के साथ बोलने के लिए भी, और बहुत सारे लोगों के साथ बोलने के लिए भी यही सब काम आते हैं तंत्र। और मैं उनका बहुत ही अच्छा उपयोग कर रहा हूं। मेरे स्टूडेंट्स को भी मैं एनकरेज करता हूं लोगों के सामने जाके बोलने के लिए, और वो धारिष्ट पैदा करने के लिए, और वही आत्मविश्वास मैं सबको देना चाहता हूं। ये सब जो मेरा जो पैशन है, जो वुमेन वेलनेस के लिए मैं जो काम कर रहा हूं, उसमें ये पब्लिक स्पीकिंग का बहुत बड़ा हाथ है। और ये सिर्फ मोनेटाइजेशन जो है ना, वो मैंने कुछ लाख कुछ करोड़ रुपए बताया है, ये एक बाय प्रोडक्ट है। लेकिन मेरे खुद में एक जो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन मैंने जो अनुभव किया है, वो बहुत बढ़िया अनुभव मेरे खुद के लिए है। और मैं ये इस सब के लिए युक्ति मैम और उनकी सब टीम, उनके लिए धन्यवाद बोलता हूं। और जो कुछ भी मैंने आपके लिए आपके सामने रखा हो, उसमें जो कुछ भी आपको अच्छा लगे आप स्वीकार कीजिए, आपको अच्छा ना लगे वो मुझे वापस दे दीजिए। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू डॉक्टर समीर जी, आपका स्टोरी सुन के बहुत अच्छा लगा। यू आर लाइव एग्जांपल ऑफ व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन passion and profession becomes one. So, I mean, what you said is true. Money becomes byproduct, and life becomes effortless when passion and profession meets together. Let me invite Yukti for a feed forward to Samir.
थैंक यू सतीश, आपका हिंदी सुन के बहुत मजा आया. When he speaks in Hindi, it's just so much fun. Yeah, Sameer, fantastic. You have been able to demonstrate a very important learning and a lesson on public speaking. And that is the fact that public speaking is people service. You were completely in service in your entire talk, trying to tell people how public speaking has helped you and how they can also grow in their business. And I love the way you closed your speech by saying, "Jo acha laga, aap apna lijiye, jo bura laga, wapas mujhe de dijiye." That comes from humility, right? And humility keeps us grounded. A very, very important trait to develop in a leader is humility. How many of you felt that humility in his talk? Give me humility in the chat. Just write humility, because that's one big word that comes to me when I hear Dr. Sameer talk. With his introduction, I'm sure you know how big a deal he is in the space of Ayurveda. And yet, what keeps him grounded and what makes him successful is humility. It is a very important skill if you want to be a level 5 leader, which is the highest level of leadership. Please be conscious of your humility and bring more humility in whatever you do in life. Before I share the feed forward for Sameer, I want to give you all another reason to be here and pay full attention. Okay, so there are 7 very important traits that you must develop in yourself if you want to become a world-class speaker. How many of you want to be a world-class speaker? Give me WCS in the chat. World-class speaker. Let's quickly have WCS in the chat. Do you want to be a world-class speaker? You want to be a world-class speaker? Wonderful. So I'm going to give you 7 traits that you have to develop to become a world-class speaker, and 1 trait after every speaker. But before I share that trait with you, you need to share what are you learning from every speech here. I am very concerned about your learning here, right? Get your return on effort. Get your return on time. Whenever we invest our time, we should get some return from it, isn't it? So the return from your time here would be to share what are you taking away after you heard Sameer talk? What are you taking away after you hear every speaker talk? When you share your takeaways, I promise you, I will share with you 1 trait that can make you a world-class speaker. By the end of this event, you will have 7 such traits. Wonderful. So very quickly, tell me, what are you taking away from Sameer's talk? And while you do that, I will share the feed forward for him. And if I see a lot of sharing in the chat, then I will tell you the first trait you must develop to become a world-class speaker. Sameer, I love your smile. I love the way you opened. A lot of times people use Sanskrit just for impact. Let me be very honest. But you knew the meaning of every word. You understand the language. You understand what you're saying. And that came out very clearly. I love the pace that you maintained throughout. But if you want, you could increase it a little bit. We'll talk a little more about the feed forward later. I think the next step for you, Sameer, is to bring in maybe a few more visual aids, yeah, which can further accentuate the message and the impact that you're already creating as a speaker. Like, आप बहुत अच्छे वक्ता हैं, आप बहुत आसानी से ऑडियंस को एंगेज रख सकते हैं। आपकी स्माइल वो एंगेजमेंट क्रिएट करती है, हमें पता ही नहीं चला 10 मिनट कैसे निकल गए, राइट? लेकिन अगर आप विजुअल एड्स भी यूज करें तो वो और भी ज्यादा इम्पैक्टफुल रहेगा, और नॉलेज रिटेन करने के लिए विजुअल impact works best, right? So maybe 2-3 slides, maybe 1 or 2 slides, something that, or a prop, something that can further add the impact that you're already creating so well. I think that's all I would say. And even the closing was very nicely done. There was a structure, there was a flow, there was a personal story. In fact, end to end, there was a personal story that you've shared. I think it is a very, very good way of bringing together all the learning of the last 12 weeks that you have gone through. So with that, I'm going to share the first trait and then invite Tanvi and Sagar for their feed forward for Samir. So the first important trait that you must develop to be a world-class speaker is self-awareness. Self-awareness. Be aware of your strengths as a speaker and be aware of your areas of improvement as well. No matter how good a speaker you think you are, there is always scope for improvement. And no matter how bad a speaker you think you are, कि मुझसे तो नहीं हो पाएगा जो अभी डॉक्टर समीर ने किया, मैं नहीं कर सकती, अगर आप ऐसा भी सोचते हैं तो भी there are a few strengths you already have that can make you a good speaker. What are those strengths? It's important to know that as well. Not just your weakness, but also your strengths. Be on a lookout to find ways to enhance your self-awareness. It happens best through feedback, and not feedback from random people. Feedback from someone who you think speaks better than you. Ask them, what do they see as your strength and weakness? So that's the first trait. Look out for 6 more as we bring in 6 more speakers. For now, I'm handing it over to Tanvi for her expert views.
Thank you, Yupi. Dr. Samir, namaste. It has been such an honor and a pleasure listening to you speak today. What blew my mind, honestly, and captivated my attention was the simplicity with which you took stage and delivered your entire talk. I have always maintained that you don't need to be a maestro in English to be a good speaker. In public speaking, or I would say extraordinary public speaking, the pathway on which you are is language agnostic. And you've proved that beautifully today. I also really appreciate the very elegant transition you did when you spoke about your mission. It was beautiful. It proved that it's not that I have a problem with language. I'm choosing to speak in Hindi, right? Not a lot of the speakers are able to do that. They struggle speaking in English because they think that gets them accepted in the society and in the industry, especially in the corporate. Because you don't hail from a corporate background, this has been such a natural flow for you to speak in Hindi, go back to English, come back to Hindi. And of course, like Yukti said, I loved how you opened with the shlok. That itself caught my attention. I was like, this is going to be an interesting talk. So I enjoyed the entire talk. As feed forward, I would love to tell you that have more strategic pauses. Your flow was great. It wasn't boring. It was engaging. But it doesn't have to be like this. It has to be like this. And then pause. And then again move slowly. And then again up and down. Right? So the power of your strategic pauses, of your speed or pace variations, what do we say, of volume variations is the next level of art of public speaking, which is what I'm inviting you to now master. Right? And I always say this, regardless of what stage it is, virtual or real, always stand and deliver a talk. It just changes something in your aura when you do that. So next time, whenever you're taking any stage, especially if it's virtual, try and stand and do that. But all the very best for your next level of growth.
Yeah, now I would request Mr. Sagar Amlani to share his feed forward.
डॉक्टर समीर लय भारी
नमस्ते नमस्ते
खूप छान बोलले तुम्ही
थँक्यू सर
as well as English is concerned or your body language, the focus was on your smile. Your smile was so innocent that people were actually captivated in your smile. So keep smiling. And जैसे तन्वी ने कहा ना, pause लेना ज़रूरी है. तो एक एग्जांपल दूंगा, आपने 1000 बुक बताया, आपको पता है सेल्फ पब्लिशिंग ऑथर के लिए 10 बुक बिकना भी बहुत बड़ी बात है, 100 बुक बिकना भी बहुत बड़ी बात है। तो जब आप 1000 बुक बोलते हो ना, तो यू शुड हैव सेड, एंड यू नो व्हाट, at the end of the day I sold 1000 books. You could have actually said that, because 1000 book बहुत बड़ी बात होती है. It's a very big benchmark that you have achieved. Apart from that, आप जो गांव में बोल रहे थे that you've been working in village, और आपकी माँ ने आपको encourage किया, वहाँ पे अगर आप थोड़ा सा हाई टोन पे आ जाते तो वो encouragement दिखता। आप हंसते हंसते इतना सिंपल बोल गए कि हम सबको लगा हाँ ठीक है, बट आपने उसके लिए बहुत मेहनत करी होगी वहाँ से यहाँ तक पहुँचने के लिए, करेक्ट? तो वो आपकी आवाज़ में दिखा दो, और ज़्यादा कनेक्ट हो पाएगा, बिकॉज जब माँ बोलती है ना तो बहुत सारे इमोशंस डाल के बोलती है ना? सो इट वॉज रियली ब्यूटिफुल, यू कनेक्टेड वेरी वेल विथ ऑल योर इमोशंस, यू हैव अचीव्ड अमेजिंग थिंग्स विथ योर ओन लाइफ. So highlight those emotions and share those emotions where you're telling, and keep smiling. It's just mesmerizing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, jury members, for the feed forward, and it was indeed great feedback. And thank you, Dr. Paranjpet, for the very insightful session. Now, moving on to the next speaker. Some people find economics difficult. Others find law complicated. And very few dare to step into the world of taxes. Our speaker today has mastered all three. Mr. Kamleshwar Lahari has been at the forefront of Assam's tax system, starting his journey back in 1993. With over 25 years of experience, he is the man who ensures that while we may have complaint about the taxes, the system behind it runs smoothly and fairly. Today, he is here to talk about a different kind of a power, the power of communication in his field. So please welcome Mr. Kamleshwar Lahari, who will share his insights on the Speaking for Change, the power of public speaking in public service. Over to you, Mr. Kamleshwar Lahari. You have 10 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. I want to begin with a moment that redefined how I see public speaking. Let me take you back to 2017, when the Goods and Service Tax (GST) was first introduced in India. There was confusion among the traders. GST was misunderstood, misinformed. There was a rampant non-compliance. So government decided to conduct a series of outreach programs in the state. In one such program, I was invited to speak before the public. As invited, one day I stood before the public, full of local traders in a hall. Prior to that, I had no any experience of public speaking. So I was afraid, I was very nervous. Even I could not find words to begin. At that point of time, I felt that I had two options. Either I open the GST law book and read the line by line, or request someone else to speak on behalf of me. But I was compelled to speak because my name had already been announced. So I stood with deep breath and started with simple sentences. I explained with simple words, with the day-to-day examples. But there was some kind of noises, and I handled it. Gradually, I started talking, but I started the explanation with a simple words, just like having normal conversation with people. Gradually, I saw that there was a tremendous response from the public. There is some questions, I answered. They listened to me, I listened to them. At the end of the speech, they came towards me and expressed their happiness with my speech, and I also heard from them that they're willing to cooperate with us. And they also gave assurance for voluntary compliance. That changed my entire approach. It made me believe that public speaking is not only soft skill, but it is a very powerful leadership tool. I have been working in this department more than 25 years in different capacities in different districts across the state. Presently, I'm holding the post of Joint Commissioner of State Tax. And after long years of experience, I have come to realize that ability to speak with clarity, conviction, compassion can change the way we serve. That is why I believe power of public speaking in public service. You might be asking in your mind right now, why is the public speaking so important in public service? Let me explain why. In the government departments like in GST department, sometimes we assume that only a clarification, notification, and letters can bring awareness among the public, but practically it doesn't happen so. The truth is, policies do not move people, wars do. That is why we have to speak. Yes, we speak in various platforms, in seminars, in the public forums, but how do we truly communicate? Do we need to connect? I think the answer is often not enough. That is why we have to speak. Only effective communication, speaking with the public, can bring the public awareness and make them understand the government laws and procedures. That is why public speaking helps us to explain the complex laws in simple terms, build trust with transparency, resolve conflict with empathy, bring voluntary compliance through understanding. I have also heard about the term reform in many occasions, in many platforms. But unless we, the stakeholders, do not speak, nothing will happen. We are the government officers, are also part of the reform process because we are working in the field. Our officers are working in the field. We know the ground realities. We know the challenges, problems in the field level. That is why we have to speak. We have to explain the law. We have to justify the law. We have to defend the law. We have to speak on behalf of the people. So I think public speaking has got a good role in government administration. For bringing the all kind of changes and to have result-oriented performance in the department, we need good leader. We have many brilliant officers in our department because they come from various backgrounds like, after clearing tough competitive exams like state civil services. But whenever it comes to leadership, one vital thing holds them back is ability to speak. Let me share two contrasting stories. One day I went on field visit as a zonal officer. My area officer took me to a particular place where there was gathering. He was supposed to explain the taxation laws and procedures before the public. He started with 2 or 3 sentences, but suddenly he leaned towards me and whispered, "Sir, I cannot speak. I'm afraid I'll fumble." I saw his pathetic facial expression. He could not continue. That day I realized many brilliant officers remain invisible, not because of lack of their talent, but because of lack of their voice. Somebody rightly said, a leader who cannot speak cannot lead. On the other hand, one day I also met one officer, not one day actually, he's the government officer in our department. He was known for his speaking skills, and because of his mesmerizing voice and speaking skills, he was brought to the head office and he was given assignment to represent the department in different forums, highest level forums, like a presentation in the ministerial meetings and also in the highest level conferences like GST Council. He performed perfectly. He impressed everyone. One day I heard that he had been nominated as IAS, which is considered to be one of the biggest achievement in our department. It's only his voice which made him outstanding. So that is why I always advocate for public speaking. It can also be used in government department for motivational speeches. After long, hard works, sometimes we need heartfelt speech and inspiring words to inspire the officers, demoralized officers. This may not be written in the files and records, but this brings a morale and build unity. Think of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who was not only greatest scientist, but he was also icon for his speech, especially among the youths. He spoke with conviction, clarity. Frankly speaking, till today, I am also learning public speaking, especially from that incident of 2017. I told you, I met my personal commitment to improve my speaking skills. From that day, I started observing great speakers in different platforms. I joined in small groups, in seminars, in briefings, even in family gathering. I have also joined in this academy just to improve my speaking skills. So today I can see my own journey. I can feel my transformation. So here is my message to all my fellow officers, future leaders, every citizen here. Don't just speak to inform, speak to inspire. Don't just deliver order, deliver meaning. Don't just follow the policy. Lead, modify, improve, and explain wherever required. Because to bring better governance, we must become better speaker, better communicator. Public service is not just sitting at a desk. It's all about for standing up for the people. To stand up with the people, we must speak for the people, with the people, to the people. That is why and how we speak for change. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kamleshwar. It was indeed a great speech, and I would like to invite Yukti for giving her feedback.
Well done, Lahari. Can we have a round of applause? Clap, clap, clap for the effort. Let me confess to you all my speakers are a little nervous, okay? They are great achievers in their space, but they need some love and support from you today so that they can show you what they have consciously learned in the last 12 weeks. So can we have some quick sharing in the chat? How was the experience for you? What did you learn from Lahari's storytelling? He talked a lot about his own experiences, which brings me to the second important trait we have to develop in ourselves, as we have seen Lahari do. You know what he did? Storytelling. Storytelling is a trait. It can be learned. It can be developed. In fact, it must be learned. If you want to be a world-class speaker, you've got to learn how to tell stories. Stories के दो हिस्से होते हैं, story बनाना और story बताना. Which story to tell and how to tell it. Both are equally important, and Lahari did a fab job with that. So good work there. Personalizing, storytelling, gestures, eye contact, sitting posture, fantastic, right? I think that went very, very well. Some bit of engaging with the audience is always welcome, but you would also need to manage your time because you don't want to exceed it like you didn't. You managed it within the timelines. But if you can engage a little bit with some questions, it's always a plus plus. The feed forward for you, I think, would be to extend your vocal range, Larry. We've talked about it, and I know you have done conscious work there. I have taught you some breathing exercises, some exercises for the vocal cord, and you're at it. I know you're working on it. That, you know, sometimes by nature we are very soft-spoken. Doesn't mean that we don't have what it takes to be a good speaker. But, you know, like how we do a little extra makeup for the screen, because when you're standing on the stage or when you're standing in front of the camera, you need to do a little extra for it to look normal. So as a speaker, we need to have that little extra throw of voice. So when you say, don't speak to inform, speak to inspire, we change that by saying, don't speak to inform, speak to inspire, right? And that just completely changes the whole impact of what we are saying. So that emphasis is created with a throw of voice. And that is something that I want to work with you on to take you to your next level. Of course, visual aids, again, I will say, would have been nice to see maybe one PPT in between or something. It just kind of creates a little break from just listening to a speaker. But I know this is your first gig in this manner, and getting in some bit of tech can make it a little more complicated. So I will, kind of give you that. But that's the feed forward for you. I want you to start getting comfortable with tech too and start bringing in more visual aids. So great job, Darlari. Thank you so much. Let's invite the other jury members.
Thank you, Yukti. So now I would like to invite Mr. Sagar to give his feed forward.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Mr. Lahari, it was really, really good listening to you because you brought in story. Stories actually connect very well. And the best part that I loved about your stories is you were not only saying the story, but you connected those stories with the evidences, with the results, with the need. And when you connect that, we know the story, but unless and until we know what is the moral of the story, what is the learning, and why should we listen to that story, the talk becomes like, yeah, okay, but you actually connected the dots. And second thing I would just let you know, and all other speakers know, is whenever you're speaking, don't forget to breathe. Right? Because what happens is when you're speaking, you actually subconsciously are breathing only a little bit. So kind of take a pause. So you know what, friends? I went on the stage and I froze. Actually, you're taking a pause to breathe in. So you do that, have fun, and it will be really awesome. So the examples that you gave, I really loved them. The low point that you started with, the feeling nervousness, your eye contact on the camera was bang on. You were not looking too many times here and there. So brilliant. And you took relevant names in the government, in the systems, to give example that why public speaking is important also in the government. So thank you so much, and it was lovely listening to you.
Thank you, Sagar. So now I would like to invite Tanvi. Yeah.
Hi, good evening, Ms. Lowry. I really enjoyed your talk. You brought in a lot of interesting perspectives about the application of public speaking in the public service industry that you've been from. Something that stood out for me is how you beautifully captured a very key message, which you should have invested a little more time letting that message sink in. Was policies do not move people, words do. Correct. You could have had a little story around this also, or a little audience engagement around this point. So it actually sinks in better with the audience, because that was the highlight, the aha moment for me, because I never realized that what impact public speaking can create in the public service industry also. So it was a delight to listen to your perspectives, your challenges, your stories, and the experiences that you have gone through. My 2 cents in terms of feed forward is that try and, like Sagar rightly said, breathe a little more. That's for strategic breathing and pausing. Because you don't only use that moment to breathe, but you also pause at the right moment to let something sink in. Like, for example, I loved how you ended it. There were 3 things you said to everyone. It's not just to inform, to inspire, and then you went on, and then you went on. There were 3 things you brought together over there. And each of them were powerful. But if you see my challenges right now, I'm having a very difficult time recollecting what were those after the first point. I wish you had paused. Public speaking is not just to inform, but to also inspire. The way you deliver an impactful message is what helps the message become sticky. Or, like I like to call it, a soul tattoo. It becomes a soul tattoo for your audience. You cannot forget it. Yep. So that is my second feed forward to you, that please pause. And, in English, we've learned something called a figure of speech, where climax is a figure of speech. So whichever 3 lines you have of message, ensure that the order of importance is always increasing. So it's like a crescendo you're taking people on. Okay. I am going to go out on a limb and ask you over here, were you reading your script? Were you just referring to bullet points?
Are you asking me, ma'am?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Would you repeat it?
I'm asking you, were you reading your whole script or were you just referring to the bullet points?
No, I'm not reading the script.
Okay.
I just to try to, to stress some points where it is necessary, but I don't know. I'm not actually
Very good.
conversant.
Mali.
Comfortable
Rajat.
here because
Mm. Mm. You are on mute, Kamleshwar.
can you hear me now?
Now I can, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't read the script. I was just delivering speech, and then also sometimes I feel disturbed whenever I see the screens because I'm not used to. That is why I think
Sure.
some disturbances happened.
Okay. So I'll just share this as a feedback for everyone who's going to speak today. Even if you're reading the script, you need to learn the art of managing your eye contact with the audience while stealing glances at your script. Because this is a very small stage, right? So every minor eye movement is captured. Many times when you're on an actual physical stage and you're reading from a teleprompter, it is not that noticeable. But if you're reading something on a virtual stage, it is very noticeable. So the eye movements go like this, right? So just a feedback for everyone that try, and of course, this is the first few times you are delivering something like this so formally. Try and make it a commitment to yourself that you'll not read out a script. Just glancing bullet points to ensure that you are sticking to the flow is a brilliant practice to do. So you don't miss out on any important points, but never ever fall into the temptation of reading from the script. So I'm glad to hear that you were not reading out the script and possibly just referring to it in the notes that you had made. A very important feedback I would like to give you is the first story that you shared with us. Correct? You said that, okay, it was really nice the way you took on the demeanor of the friend or the colleague that you have came up to you and told you that, sir, I can't speak. I loved that enactment. That's that blue blood storytelling. But my complaint right now to you is you did not complete the story. I'm like, what happened after that? What did you tell him? Did you take over his place? Like, I was dying to know how does the story evolve and end. You directly jumped on to the moral of the story. So stories have a beautiful structure that you should follow. Don't leave the audience waiting and wanting more. Because if you do that once, and maybe you do it second time, then the audience somewhere is going to disconnect from you. They're like, it's just random information put together. So what you could have done differently is, had more dialogue. You could have responded to your friend saying something, exchange a little bit of words with him, then tell the audience what you did next, what he did next. Ask a question to the audience because something like this has possibly happened to them, especially in this room. Let them reflect along with your story. That is how your story becomes their lesson. Okay? Ask a question to the audience to reflect on something that you are sharing with them. Yes, so those are my 2 cents. All the very best for your journey, and we look forward to probably seeing you on actual stages with government officials and politicos and rocking the stage in the future. So thank you so much for today, Mr. Lari.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Larry. I hope the feed forward is useful and you will be taking more actions towards the improving the skill as such. Zubair has raised a hand. Zubair, you have any question?
No such question, madam, but just a small hint regarding our participants' voice or lack thereof clarity of. in the Zoom platform, we can understand that this is particularly new for the speakers. They are not used to the platform, but there are some useful features within the Zoom itself, like mic sensitivity. If we are using some particular kind of mics or earphones, we can increase or decrease the sensitivity of the mic. So, along with that sensitivity, there is noise cancellation partly on the software end of the Zoom, which can be configured beforehand. So, these kind of difficulties can be partly taken care of.
Okay, so you have a suggestion for having some kind of a Zoom feature to be enabled for all the speakers so that the mic sensitivity can be reduced. Is that what you are trying to say?
Yeah, configure it to our environment so that our voice gets transmitted effectively as a trainer, as a speaker.
Okay.
There are inbuilt features, not to add anything else.
If
They
you,
are
it would be
inbuilt.
good if you can type in what needs to be done so that speakers can follow the instructions.
No, it is not possible just now.
Yeah, Zubair, I think Aparna, I'll just come in quickly. Zubair, I got what you're saying, and thank you for sharing that. Jayanta, if you have anything to add, please put it in the chat, because I'm just a little cognizant of the time and the lineup we have, and so much more to learn from the next speakers. So let's continue with the flow, Aparna. And if there are any questions or thoughts, please put it in the chat. I would request audience to do that. Over to you, Aparna.
Yeah, thank you. So Satish, would you like to welcome the next speaker?
Yeah, please. Yeah, our next speaker is a living legend in the world of chess. He is an international chess player who has represented India over 20 global tournaments, including the World and Commonwealth Championship. And he is also a FIDE certified instructor who has coached Indian youth teams to become world and Asian champions. For the last 25 years, he has been mentoring the next generation of players through his academy. And today, he is here to share the secret ingredient to his coaching success. Please welcome Mr. Laish from Imocha, speaking on Voice of Influence, why great coaches must be great speakers. Over to you, Imocha.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
In every field and in every discipline, there are so many coaches, so many trainers. But only a few coaches become great coaches. There is a saying that is, Olympians are not born, they are made. इसके साथ मैं एक कहानी सुनाने चाहता हूं. In the year 1980, about 45 years back, I had started my journey as a chess player in the national arena in 1980 in Pondicherry. Till at the end of 1986, I was one of the strongest junior chess player in the country. Even I was twice runners-up behind Viswanathan Anand, the 5 times world chess champion. But I could not reach in the top 10 best player in the country because of my inconsistent, my unstable performance. I didn't know why. And that was wandering in my mind always, that time. Fortunately, In the year 1987, I had the opportunity to attend a chess coaching camp for 2 months under the guidance of the chief coach of the Russian Olympic School's chess, Mr. Vasiliev, in New Delhi. After attending the coaching camp, I learned so many things. And because of that knowledge I gained from that coaching camp, within 2 years, I could qualify for the World Junior Chess Championship to represent my country, India. That was held in Colombia in 1989. And after that, I started qualifying for the national and premier chess tournaments. Years gone, साल बीत गए, बहुत साल चला गया. But in 2001, I started giving coaching to the young children. And since then, I have been coaching chess to the upcoming young children for 25 years. But I thought somehow there is some lacking behind in my way of coaching. Because of that, the result of my students not coming up, not up to the mark. Then luckily, I joined the EPSM program session. And during this course, I came to realize what is the effective communication, what is the real role of the effective communication, and what is the role of a coach. And suddenly, अचानक मैं फिर याद आ गया 1987 में जो मैंने कोचिंग अटेंड किया था उसके बारे में याद आ गया. Why that coaching was so effective? Because of within 2 years, from 1987 to 1989, I qualified the World Championship. Then I came to realize the coach was delivering how he was coaching, how his coaching was so effective. उसके साथ मेरा emotional relation कैसा हो गया था? How he built up trust and self-confidence to the players. All these things I came to realize only after joining the EPSM session. That fellow, he was using the 3 elements of the persuasive communication skills that I came to realize only after this session. He used that 3 things, this ethos, pathos, and logos. Even before starting the coaching camp, he was introducing about himself. He was one of the best coaches in the world. And he was giving some data and reasons why we need to attend coaching camps under a qualified mentor. And yesterday's class also I come to realize this. These 3 M's is very important that fellow was using. That is mentor, method, and mastermind. So I am really very much thankful in between this, our Yukti ma'am also, for giving this opportunity to learn everything about public speaking, the effective of the public speaking. So one more thing, that after this, since last 2.5 months, my students started performing better and better. And even they started qualifying for the nationals. See the effective of the public speaking. One more story I would like to share. Even the Acharya Chanakya, the famous guru of the Chandragupta Maurya, उसने जब और अखंड भारत का राजा सम्राट बनाने के लिए कोशिश कर रहा था, उसी समय हर सुबह उसने अपने शरबत में पॉइजन लगाकर पीता था। फिर भी उसने कभी पूछा ही नहीं, क्योंकि his persuasive skill was so high, तो उसको पूछने का मौका ही नहीं मिला उसको। तो this is why the great coaches must be great speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mocha. It's an absolute delight to watch you speak. I think you are an unsung hero. Yeah, I would call Yukti ma'am for feed forward.
Wonderful, Emocha. It was so much fun listening to you. I have a question for the audience before I share the feed forward. Tell me, listen to this question carefully, okay? आप में से कितने लोगों को लगता है that if you were to meet Emocha over a cup of coffee, he will talk the same way as he was talking right now? Give me in the chat if you think that a one-on-one meeting or catch up with Emocha will not make him sound any different from the way he was speaking right now. Do you feel that? Give me in the chat. Very quickly tell me, did you feel that he was just having a chat with you? He was just conversing. He was trying to share some real experiences from his life. Did you feel that? Give me in the chat if that's what you felt. Right? This is another important trait. It's amazing how these traits are just coming out from speakers themselves. I don't need to give you a theoretical list. Look at the demonstration of another important trait here, and that is authenticity. Authenticity is a very, very important trait to develop if you want to learn how to speak to create impact. What is authenticity? The ability to be yourself. The ability to not create any facade, just be yourself. And when you are yourself, automatically you will be multilingual. Some Hindi, some English. Automatically you will feel relaxed, look relaxed, body language. A lot of things which technical experts like me, Tanvi, Sagar, or any of us can share with you, you will automatically demonstrate that. If you just allow yourself to show up authentically. Be authentic, be yourself. And at the same time, be mindful of what it takes to create impact, the body language, right? The clarity in your content, the structure in your content, the eye contact, right? The modulation. While all those things are important, right in the middle of it all is you. And when you allow that person to show up, audience is automatically engaged, automatically connected. How many of you felt connected with Emocha? Give me connected in the chat. Did you feel connected with him? Were you completely with him throughout? Again, I didn't feel like 10 minutes went by like that. And actually, the feed forward that I have for you is take all your 10 minutes, right? You still had 2.5 minutes to spare. Take every minute that you have, because honestly, I was enjoying listening to you. And I would have loved another 2.5 minutes of Emocha and sharing how coaches need to learn how to speak well and the kind of impact you can create on your coaches if you take the responsibility of being a good speaker as much as you are a good coach. So Emocha, your opening was gripping, multilingual. I always love a little bit of Hindi, a little bit of English, kind of a mix coming in very naturally, very authentic, relevant stories shared, a lot of emphasis at a lot of places, right? There are 4 P's which are very, very important in public speaking, right? One is space, the other is pitch. So pitch is emphasis. This is important. That is emphasis. That is where your pitch goes high, your pitch goes low. And then there is space. Space goes fast, space goes slow. So maintaining that balance between the pace and the pitch, bringing in pauses at the right time, and more importantly, that power that is required when you speak. I saw a good balance of all of that today, Emocha. Very conversational and relaxed delivery. The feed forward that I would like to give you would be to add more power And that could happen whether it's through aids or for you to stand and deliver, or for you to probably make it a little more dramatic with gestures. You were bringing in gestures, but I would have liked to see some more gestures coming in, because a large part of communication is body language, and that gets compromised in virtual space because we have only this much window to use all of our body language. Gestures helps a great deal. You did make gestures. Some more of that, I think, would have helped to add more power to your delivery, but absolutely loved it. We'll let Tanvi and Sagar add more to it.
Thank you, Yukti. Emocha, first of all, I was delighted to hear your story and your background because I'm a chess connoisseur myself. I absolutely love playing chess. I've been playing for 25 years, and my father had taught me. Sadly, I never got a coach or never found a coach like you. I just wish I had met you sooner. Then maybe we would have been competing at national, international levels as well. But kudos to the work that you're doing. It's so important. I'm sure there are many more stories in this beautiful journey that you've had. You shared one with us today about, the shift that you saw, correct? That's a positive story. You also want to share something, we call it as a crisis story or a challenge story, correct? Because it's a shift that you want to show before and after. You shared the after story. A before story would have been equally impactful. That, this is what was happening when I was not doing all those things. A little more deeper, if you had gone in the story, you would have felt your pain and resonated with you more. You're very happy to see that immediately after the shift, something positive happened. A very good speaker knows how to introduce a challenge or a conflict and escalate it. So the entire room is hooked on to you. You have this natural, authentic conversation style, which is great. But when you become a speaker, you need to do a lot more. You need to become a performer also. A good storyteller is a good performer. So the next stage of feed forward and recommendation or advice to you would be now start learning the art of storytelling. You're a natural speaker. You're very magnetic as a natural speaker because you're so authentic. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. But a good storyteller brings in the wealth of his experience, expertise, and experiments you've done in your life and weaves stories with that such that the message that they want to share with the audience truly sticks. Because every story you share, I resonate with it because I see a little bit of something that's happened in my life similar to that story. And you want to create that emotion with your audience. And I think you have the ability plus the stories to do that. You could have shared a little bit about, maybe once you have, I'm just saying hypothetically, maybe you had met Vishwanathan Anand sometime. Maybe you played off against him also. Those are the stories which would stick with your audience. Because or else just name throwing by saying that, yeah, whatever it was, our second runner up or whatever you said about the context of Vishwanathan was not landing with the audience. Give that context a story, wrap it in a story is my recommendation, because that also has to have a message. Or else it's just a statement. It will not stay with people. So yeah, these are a couple of my 2 cents, and all the very, very best. And I really hope to see a future world champion come from under your aegis, actually.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Tanvi. Let's bring in Sagar for feed forward.
Sure. So, first of all, kudos. It was really, really awesome, and definitely had goosebump moments at a few points where you talked about your coach, your journey, and I was just hooked on to saying that how would you achieve and what would you do after those 2 years of coaching. So brilliant start of that story. My feed forward to you is number one, as Yukti rightly said, 2.45 minutes were left with you. You could have actually summarized why coaches should have good public speaking. You said it in the story, you said it in an experience, but 2 minutes, you could have actually summarized it. It could have been a summary of the whole talk in those 2 minutes, and people would have remembered that 2 minute message for life. Right? That's number one. Second, while being authentic, you were also thinking at the same time. Yes? You're also recalling the stories. Yes? I saw that because what happens is when you're thinking, your eyelids go up. So you were thinking about the story and trying to connect. And what happened in that is you missed out 1 or 2 points in the story that you wanted to connect as an example of what your coach would have done. Yes, you had it in your speech, if I'm right.
Yeah, yeah.
I could sense it, I could feel it because you said a sentence and then you retract back, right? So practice, practice, practice. That's my feed forward for you, that when you have a story, when you're trying to say something, if you haven't practiced, you will always go back, you will retract, your eyelids would go up as if you're thinking. And people sense it, people feel it. But loved your story, loved every single bit of what you shared with us. The last thing, when you're giving an example, connect it with evidence. Like you said, 3 of my students went there, or 3 of my students started achieving. When you say those numbers of 3 or 4 or 5, automatically there is a trust which is built to the listeners. But when you say, my students started qualifying, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, how many? So that would be a very, very big game changer for people. So thank you so much and keep inspiring all of us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Emosha, for that powerful session. So now we have heard 3 brilliant speakers who have actually shown us how public speaking actually can help in monetizing a passion, transform the public service, and influence an entire community. Before we move on to our next set of speakers, we have a special treat for all of you. Satish, you are on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, our jury isn't just here to give feed forwards. They're also here to share some of their own wisdom. It is my pleasure to invite one of our esteemed jury members, Mr. Sagar Amlani, to share a short session on a key public speaking skill which he thinks is important. Please give a warm welcome to Sagar again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Satish, for inviting me and asking me to share my experiences with public speaking. I would love to share one story of my life journey and my experience with public speaking. So, what happened is I was in college, in diploma to be very specific, and most of my friends were selected to give a technical paper presentation. I wanted to go there not because I wanted to do a technical paper presentation, but they were going to Mathura. Me being a Gujarati, going to Mathura is like on a pilgrim and having fun. So I said, I don't know what to do, but I'll come to Mathura. Now, you can't go there if you don't have a paper presentation. And again, law of attraction. So I said, I'll manage. Till the last minute, I don't know what I was supposed to do. I did not inform my institute because I was in a college there. I had to inform them. I did not inform them. I did not have a confirmed ticket. The only thing I had was, I want to go to Mathura. So what happened is, just before boarding the train, one of my junior, because I was in the third year, the junior comes to me and says, you know what, I can't come. So this is my berth. This is my presentation and these are the slides. And I'm talking about 1998, where we did not have the presentation slides, but we had those transparent sheets where you used to write with a sketch pen and put it on the projector and that would show up. And I was like, okay, what next? No, sir, you read the flow, you read the PPT, you read the slides and give the paper presentation. I was like, wow, what do I do? And I'm not a science student, by the way. He was a science student. His topic was artificial blood. I still remember perfluorocarbons. And that's where public speaking started kicking in naturally. I don't know how, what, but I was just observing the people who were giving speeches before me. The only thing that I observed was, A, if you want to speak, speak with confidence. Nobody knows what you've prepared, right? So if you forget something, don't show it on your face, because the minute you show, while we were going in the train, I was like, people know that you've forgotten the speech. So A, speak with confidence. Nobody knows what you've prepared. Number two, Practice, practice, practice. And number three, ensure that you hook them in the story till the last, because I'm sure right now all of you want to know what happened in that speaking event, right? Well, the end happened with I gave the presentation, I answered all the questions, everything happened on the stage. At the end, came back with the third prize. The principal was furious, the dean was furious, but showed him the certificate, and I was given a leave of absence, and I was not being suspended from the institute because of that. So everything went well. So as a part of public speaking, two things that I always picked up was have confidence, practice, practice, practice. So that's a quick tip from my side, a quick share of a personal story and what I believe public speaking is all about. Thank you so much.
Wow, what a wonderful story. Seems Krishna was with you on that day. So, thank you so much, Sagar. I think we would like to hear more from you. You have shortened your speech. Maybe we can hear more. Yukti, you would like to add something?
I don't mind speaking more. I was not aware of the timer because you didn't put the timer there. So I
We
was
didn't
like, do
give
I
you
get...
a timer as a jury member.
No
Yeah.
problem. If we have time, we will speak later. Don't worry.
Yeah, we can bring him back at the end, and it's always a delight listening to Sagar. And I think it's such a powerful story, because any story that can take you back to your own stories in life is a powerful story. So, how many of you are able to reflect up into your life and think of something like that? Some such episode from your life. Give me in the chat, because I was immediately transported to my college days when he was talking about his, and I remember the first time I took up the stages, because it was quick money. There was this exhibition and they wanted a host, and the event organizer was a friend, and he said, can you please host this event? You'll get 8,000 rupees per day. I'm like, oh, wow, that's a lot of money for a college girl. And I just picked that up without knowing what am I going to do on the stage. And the first exposure was in front of hundreds of people, because it was Auto Expo. It's one of the most sought after exhibitions that happens in Delhi every year. Yeah, so you kind of get those breaks in life, and then you have two options. Either you get into your shell and escape, or you come out and give it a shot. It might not be a perfect shot, but those failures will teach you what to do better next time. And that's what's got us to where we are with 25 years of speaking on various stages in different platforms. I think every single time I come back with a list of what I could have done better, as much as what I did well. And that prepares you for the next one. So on that note, let's bring in the next speaker, Aparna.
No,
Yeah.
Tanvi wanted to say
I think
something.
Tanvi is also
Tanvi,
having
go
a
ahead.
short story to share.
Oh, well, it was false alarm. I was just clapping at it with my hand. But it did take me back to something that happened to me in my school. And since we do have a few minutes, I'm hijacking your time, Sagar, and I'm going to share that story with everyone. Over 12 years of being a speaker in the industry, I've received a couple of compliments. One being just the eloquence and the command on language and stuff like that I've been able to learn and master in my life. It surprises a lot of people when they really know me better and come to know that I'm a Gujarati, because I don't have any Guju accent, so to speak, that Gujus are famous for. But I wasn't always like this. So my story is of a 13-year-old Tanvi who had messed up big time as a high school girl. And my school group, not college group. I was in high school. My school group was a typical group of, people, if you all have seen the movie Mean Girls, right? Everyone was like a personification of that. We all were just one fine day sitting, chatting, having fun. It was like an annual day rehearsal or something. And just to add on to all the banter going on, I thought, let me be funny and add on a little joke. Now, I don't want to get into the details of the joke and all, but whatever happened thereafter, the moral of the story was I mispronounced something. Actually, that was the punchline of the joke, which I mispronounced. So instead of me being the jester, I became the joke, right? And we are 13, 14-year-old kids, boys, girls, right? They were anything but kind to me. It was definitely not ignored, definitely not forgiven. Not only that day, but for the next few weeks. So I had to live that for the next few weeks, being mocked, laughed, ridiculed for my spoken English skills. And I promised myself something at that point of time that Tanvi, never again in your life will anyone ever talk down to you because of the way you talk. So there are moments like these we all have in our life, that push us over the edge and commit to becoming such a version of ourselves. And that day I promised myself that, one day when I'm done speaking on some stage somewhere in the world, I will have at least one person come up to me from the audience and say, Tanvi, please don't stop talking. That is the level of speaker I aspired to become when I began the journey of being a speaker in the industry. Because being a speaker is sheer accident for me. I did not plan this. But when I did embark on this journey professionally, I was like, this is my dream. And I hope someday this dream becomes yours and it comes true for each one of you as well.
Thank you so much, Tanvi, for sharing your story. Now let's get back to our speakers who have been eagerly waiting for their own turns. So our next speaker is a true living testament to the idea that age is just a number. At 69, Ms. Hemlata Shekhar is a lifelong learner who beautifully embodies the spirit of dedication and humility. With degrees in everything from zoology to psychotherapy, she is a master of many disciplines. Even in retirement, she hasn't slowed down, embracing marathons and yoga as new challenges. Today, drawing on her incredible journey as an educator, she is here to share a lesson that goes beyond the classroom. Please welcome Ms. Hemlata Shekhar. Yeah, Hemlata.
All participants.
Your time starts now, Lata.
Okay. Today, after hearing my lesson, it's all about my past. At present, I'm 69 years old, dealing with a physical issue that I'm dealing with Parkinson's disease, which has given me that side effects of dry mouth and slurred speech, as well as the insomnia and the imbalance while walking. Okay. So anyway, these things they never deterred me from learning anything anymore from my life, which I had been doing for a long time. So I had taken my public speaking course, like a executive public speaking course from time onwards, because to continue as my journey to stay connected and to stay strong. Like, can I share my this thing? Slides.
Entire screen. Idu PPT card holder. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, hi friends. Do you think all great leaders are the great speakers? Is it? Yes. Okay. So the why? Because they inspire, motivate, and bring vision to life all through the verse. Even as a teacher, when I stood in front of my students, I wasn't just teaching; I was also leading. But this confidence I got only after I took up my public speaking training. I started my career in the year 1989 from the Arya Central School, Trivandrum. One day, I was sitting in my staff room correcting the notebooks. Suddenly, I heard some sound loud voices. It was some parents standing near the principal's office and shouting loudly over the fee hike. The principal immediately called for a meeting and she explained everything in a calmly, but her voice had so much power and confidence that not only we, the teachers, even the parents were very much convinced, and finally they went on smiling. So from that day onwards, she became my role model, and I wanted to make the same impact in my teaching, but soon I realized that it was not possible because mere subject knowledge is not enough for that. So I took training in public speaking training. So now today I'll explain how it was has helped me in my career as a professional teacher. First thing, firstly, it develops the confidence. It has given me 3 C's, like courage to express, clarity to think, and confidence to lead. So it has taught me to own the room, lead with presence, and with the and and ignite changes. The courage and confidence has given me, it can give you the more opportunities and be a new career also. For example, in the year 1998, when I newly shifted to Dadar, uh, I started searching some new schools. That time when I visited the Indian Education Society at the Dadar TT, I went for an interview. I attended for an interview. During the interview, the chairperson asked me after some formal questions, how would you teach that passive voice to the children of the higher classes? And immediately I responded like saying, taking the examples from the newspapers. Like newspapers may, generally it has been given, should be given that this minister has been elected and Rahul Dravid has been declared as a man of the match, and Chennai airport has been shut for the due to the heavy water block, and then Titanic film was been awarded for that best film as of the year 1997 exactly. So I said they did. So when I said all these things, the panel was very much impressed, and they finally said that okay, you are selected, you can go and collect your appointment order. So it was that public speaking training that has given me the confidence and that has given me the confidence to put my ideas effectively. Then comes the public speaking has develops our communication skills. Communication, communication skills.
Teachers.
Okay, there's communication skills. Mm. As teachers, our strength lies in our words, and public speaking has given us teaches us that powerful communication with which we can touch the heart, inspire the minds, and then change the lives. Public speaking it gives you that no, the lesson plan prepares your content, whereas public speaking prepares your voice. Public speaking as teaches us that the importance of certain skills, communication skills, like storytelling, voice modulation, and body language. And body language. So, body language to make the lessons very interesting. So, public speaking, we all love a good story, isn't it? Whether we are 7 or 70, is it? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, yes. So we all love the stories. And even I once visited, watched my fellow teacher explaining the photosynthesis, just like a bedtime story. And all the students were leaned in, not just to learn, but to experience. Stories help the students remember the concepts very well than the definitions. I remember I even remember my own favorite teacher, English teacher, used to tell the stories in such a way that I could easily visualize every scene of it. And now let me ask you this question, whether you also will be, do you remember your most boring teacher too? Yes? Okay. In which period, subject period it was used to be feeling such a boring? Okay. 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 So why it was boring? Even for me, the maths teacher was most boring teacher. Tha. So why it was boring? Because of monotone. There was no rise or fall in the tone, and every sentences sounded the same. They would have got that talented. They would have been very well uh, in their subject, but it did not reach you, isn't it? So because it was something was missing. That was that publication. The next. It was a publication, public speaking skill, communication skill that is called the voice modulation. Yeah, voice modulation makes the teaching very engaging and impactful and keeps every student truly connected. Yes. So voice modulation. So then public speaking teaches us that eye contact to engage, pausing to let the thoughts settle, and listening to respond, not just reply. When the teachers practices these skills, no, they stop lecturing and they start connecting with the students. Thirdly, thirdly, the public speaking has helped me to fit in my new role as a teacher. Actually, earlier the teacher's role was to teachers were the main source of knowledge, and nowadays the knowledge is available everywhere: Google, YouTube, as well as the AI. Then, what do the students expect from the teacher now? Can you put me in the chat box? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, experiential training. Okay. So the students know. Yes. Now the students want to be heard, valued, and supported emotionally. And so this also I came to understand that when my students started reaching out to me and with love and affection, love and gratitude, they told me, for example, Mansi used to tell me that, ma'am, you are my mentor. And Lloyd from the St. Joseph School, he used to tell me that, ma'am, because of your motivation, so I had taken, I have chosen that teaching as my profession. And the parents of the Vasant and Prashant and Prashant and Vasant, they told me proudly that they had been, no, they had been, because of my guidance, they had been doing very well in their banking career. So if you want the transformation, then you just inform. No, you just inspire, don't just inform. And um, listen, don't just lecture, and be connected, grow the learners and not just grade them, because our true legacy lies not in the syllabus we complete but in the lives we ignite. So to summarize, public speaking teaches us to be confident in our voice, connected with our students, and capable as leaders. Now my message to the teachers is that don't just improve your lesson plan, improve your delivery. So speak with power, speak with purpose, and let your voice be the lesson that student never forget. Okay, and teachers, please master this art of public speaking. Okay, you just you don't need to be very perfect, or you don't need to be even louder. Yeah, just like me, you can see that I'm not louder. So you have to just be the honest and uh, passionate and be present. And because public speaking is not about impressing the people, it's about impacting them. If you just learn to do this, then you will not just become a better speaker, you will be a powerful professional in your powerful professional, a respected voice, and a light in your field. So my friends, speak up. And so, and because your voice has the power and the world needs to hear it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Hemlata ma'am. You are truly a good learner, not only a good teacher, actually. So now I would like to invite Ms. Yukti to give her feed forward.
Hemlata, I am so proud of you today. I am so proud. As much as sitting here, I was feeling that a teacher is teaching, because that's your occupation for so many years and it takes time to change that. But I also saw a student. Let me tell you, Tanvi and Sagar, every single feedback I have given to her in the last 12 weeks, she has grasped it as well as she could, with that hunger to implement immediately. Even when she shared her final script, I made a small change here and there, and I saw that change incorporated in her speech today. It takes a lot of humility for a teacher to become a student. Do you agree? Give me agree in the chat if you agree. It takes a lot of humility for a teacher who's a role model for so many students to sit here and say, I want to learn. And it takes a lot of courage to go against your physical health, fight all the symptoms that can hold you back. Instead of being a victim, you decide to take charge. And that's what Hemlata stands for. She's an inspiration for anyone who thinks that physical limitations can hold you back and not let you be who you want to become. She is work in progress, but then so are all of us, right? And she has made a lot of progress today. I can't tell you from where we started to where she is today. Huge, huge, huge progress. Look at her screen presence. I love the sari. I love the support she's getting from the background. I think her son is there and they clapped. Did you hear that? I heard them clapping for mom because they should. They should be very, very proud of what their mom is doing here today. Hemlata, gestures, screen presence, engaging the audience with your questions. Fantastic. Right? But I also know that you were nervous. You were so nervous that I could hear your feet. Literally. Right? And I get that. It's all right. What is not okay is to surrender, give up because of that nervousness and run away, have cold feet and not show up. That's not okay. What's okay is to be nervous. It's okay to be nervous and still show up. And you showed up, and 10 on 10 for that. Can you learn tech better? Yes. Can you learn how to switch from slides back to your screen? Yes. And you will. Can you learn how to complete your sentences which were left incomplete when you were engaging with your audience? Yes, you will be more mindful next time and complete your question. You were asking a question, but the question was not complete. Whatever little somebody understood, they answered, then others followed. But that clarity was missing, which will come in again. Does modulation need more work? Yes. But all this can only happen for someone who has the courage to show up. And that's what you did today. So fantastic job, the way I see it. And that brings me to one trait, as I promised at the start, there are 7 that you're learning. 3 you have learned already. The 4th one is what Hemlata talked about, is what Sagar talked about as well. It's about developing confidence. Confidence is everything. And the good news is that you can be more confident than you already are. How many of you think that you are not so confident? You're not as confident as you would like to be, especially as a speaker. Give me in the chat. Do you think what Hemlata is doing here is a big deal? It's a big deal. It's a big deal to sit here and talk in front of people she doesn't know. It's a very, very big deal, right? So we can feel lack of confidence. But I'll tell you something very quickly about confidence. Nobody in this world can ever say that they are not confident always. And at the same time, nobody can ever say that I am always confident. It is the matter of the context, the situation, the environment. So what do we do to become more confident? You could be very confident talking to your family members, but you could not be, maybe you're not that confident when neighbors come suddenly. Or you could be somebody who's very comfortable speaking in front of neighbors also, but not if neighbors come with their friends who you don't know. Or you could lose that confidence when you are picked up and say, okay, Mocha, answer this question. And then when you're in the spotlight, oops, you lose your confidence. Otherwise, you're very confident. So there is that one context in which we can lose confidence. How do we work on our confidence? Is by stepping out of your comfort zone. It's not a tip, it's a huge takeaway if you are listening to me carefully. Step out of your comfort zone every single time you get an opportunity to do it, or create an opportunity to do it. Every single time you do that, you will gain a little more confidence, and then a little more, and then a little more. And that is what has got us to where we are today. When we call ourselves as professional speakers, there is a long journey of failures behind us. But you don't stop when it doesn't work the way you want. You take the next step forward. And every time you do that, your confidence goes a notch higher. And then a notch higher after that again. And at one point, you look back and you see and realize, oh my God, I'm so out of my comfort zone. And this new zone is my comfort now. And now that I'm comfortable talking in front of 100 people I don't know, I will talk in front of 1,000. Now that I can talk in front of 1,000 people, I'm going to stand in a stadium and talk to thousands of people. That's how confidence works. There's absolutely no other way. And that's what Hemlata did with her speech today. Thank you so much once again. I'll invite Tanvi and Sagar for your views, please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, over to you, Tanvi ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Yukti, for that. Hemlata, I'm really speechless to begin with, just to see you show up and perform. In spite of all the hurdles that any one of us in this room possibly would have given up as an excuse, that I can't do this because of A, B, C, D, E reasons that you think you have going against you. Yeah. Correct? And I know while they play at the back of our mind, it's the face or the mask that we put up in front of the world to ensure that the human need for being seen, being witnessed, being validated is met. You know, but something I've realized, a mentor of mine told me once that, Tanvi, never let your value depend on how others value you. And we, as speakers, we need to remember this as a mantra every single time we take a stage. And a beautiful realization I had, in my journey, I used to lead and speak from ego because I started speaking on stages at 25. It's taken me 12, 13 years of being in the industry, learning it the hard way, to today speak from my soul. And that one realization that, shifted this for me is what I'm going to share with you today. And I hope this helps everyone. The biggest fear we have when it comes to public speaking is one thing. What is that? Well, tell me. Tell me in the chat box. What do you think is the biggest fear that we all have when it comes to public speaking?
Audience is more intelligent than me.
Fear of judgment? Absolutely. Fear of judgment. Right? So I'll leave you with something that's been like profound realization for me. That someone's judgment of you is a reflection of them. Remember that. It has nothing to do with you or your value or your brilliance. Someone's judgment of you is a reflection of them. If you remember this and internalize this, which I think you are on your journey of doing, right? Because you didn't care. You're like, I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to master, and I'm going to show up and show to the world. Yeah, so it was beautiful in render. I love the way you structured the whole presentation. Also, your slides were great, very engaging. It was very on brand for you as a teacher as well. The only thing I would recommend as a feed forward is, because you spoke about storytelling, tell a little more stories instead of information or insights or wisdom. Tell a little more stories also. And I think that will shift the connect that you have with audience. Yes, but all the very best. I hope you feel better. And go and tell more stories to more kids around the world.
Yeah, thank you, Tanvi. I would like to invite Sagar.
Hemlata ma'am, I would definitely call you ma'am because with all due respect as a teacher, and one more thing, my mother has been a teacher for 25 years. So I exactly know how it feels. So two things before I give you a feed forward. First, a big hug to you because at this age, if you're trying to learn technology, Zoom, screen sharing, it's kudos. It's absolute zeal and passion in reality. So kudos to your zeal and passion to learn and teach. Big proud. And second thing is, whoever was prompting you from the back, maybe your husband, your son, or anyone, just give them a big hug from my side because the support that you have gives you a lot of confidence and it requires a lot of courage. So kudos to anyone who is behind the scene. Thank you so much for being such a sport, right? Now coming to the feed forward, when you're sharing your stories, when you're talking about certain things, change your expressions, right? Right now, what was happening? You were actually stressed that you wanted to finish everything that you had planned. Sometimes it's okay to let go. It's okay if 2 slides are missed. It's okay. Let it be. Just enjoy. Have fun. Right? Because the biggest secret is nobody knows what you've prepared. Only you know what you've prepared. Correct? So just enjoy and super proud of what you're doing. I also love because I had a question that why are you doing public speaking at this age, at this juncture where you're supposed to just have fun? And you actually answered my question saying you had a role model as a principal and looking at that role model you. So I was listening to your speech, I was having my questions and you were answering. So that is how powerful your speech was. So thank you so much. Have fun and lots of love to you for your courage. Kudos.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hemlata ma'am. Absolutely stunning speech today. So audience, how are you finding it? Are you having fun?
Absolutely.
Yeah, say yes in the chat. Say fun. Great. Good to see. So yeah, just stay tuned because I am inviting another very inspiring leader here to speak. So our next speaker is a self-made entrepreneur and a true believer in holistic living. And वो हैं हमारे मिस्टर विनोद शिवानी जी, जो कि इरोड तमिलनाडु से आते हैं। पिछले 25 ईयर से ये शंकर एजेंसीज को एफएमसीजी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के अंतर्गत सक्सेसफुली चला रहे हैं और साथ ही अपनी वाइफ के साथ मिलकर ये एक न्यूट्रिशन सेंटर भी रन करते हैं जो कि होलिस्टिक वेलनेस पर फोकस करता है और ये लोगों को हेल्दियर और बैलेंस्ड लाइफस्टाइल की ओर जाने को गाइड करता है। With education up to the 10th standard, his journey is a shining example that determination and vision matter far more than degrees. इनकी लाइफ का पर्पस है मिलियंस ऑफ लोगों को इंस्पायर करना with a simple and yet powerful formula that is just focus on self. With that introduction, I would like to invite Mr. Vinod Shivani ji, who is going to inspire us with his speech in Hindi. Over to you.
हार्दिक अभिनंदन। हर किसी के जीवन में कोई ना कोई कहानी होती है, किसी की खुशी की, किसी के गम की, किसी के सपनों की और किसी के अधूरे अल्फाजों की। तो आज मैं आपको ले चलता हूं मेरे खुद की कहानी में। वो दिन था 16 मई 1997। वो दिन टेंथ बोर्ड एग्जाम का रिजल्ट डिक्लेयर वाला दिन था। मैं अपने स्कूल में खड़ा, उत्साहित, थोड़ा घबराया हुआ और बहुत आशाओं के साथ मैं नोटिस बोर्ड को देख रहा और इतने में एक अनाउंसमेंट हो रही है, 984 मार्क्स, 89.4%, स्कूल थर्ड रैंक, विनोद शिवानी। जैसे ही मैंने अपना नाम सुना, मेरी खुशी इतनी आसमान को छूने लगी, इतना झूम उठा क्योंकि इसके पीछे मैंने काफी सारी रातें अपने प्रिपरेशन में गवाई है, मतलब यूटिलाइज की है, क्योंकि मेरा एक बड़ा सपना था जीवन में एक बड़ा टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री बनाने का। क्योंकि मेरे पापा टेक्सटाइल ट्रेडिंग का काम करते थे और उनके बिजनेस को 10x ग्रो करने के लिए मैंने ये सपना अपने लिए बनाया था। और उस सपने को साकार करने के लिए हायर स्टडीज जरूरी था, और हायर स्टडीज में कंफर्टेबली सीट मिले उसके लिए पढ़ाई जरूरी थी। तो इस तरह मैं बहुत खुश हुआ, झूमता झूमता अपने घर गया। जैसे ही मैं घर पहुंचा, दरवाजा खोला मैंने देखा मेरे पिताजी और मेरी माताजी बहुत ही दुख में, चिंता में ऐसे बैठे थे जैसे बहुत बड़ा उनका कुछ खो गया हो। मैं धीरे से अंदर गया, मां से पूछा, माताजी क्या हुआ, आप क्यों ऐसे हो? तो मेरी माँ ने कहा, पिताजी का जो टेक्सटाइल का ट्रेडिंग था उसमें एक वेंडर ने दिवालिया घोषित कर दिया था, जिसमें मेरे पिताजी के 5 लाख रुपए डूब गए थे। ये मैं सुनते ही मैं अपनी खुशी की बात बताऊं या उनका दुख बांटूं, आज भी वो उस सीन को मैं याद करता हूं तो मेरी आंखें भर आती हैं। खैर, मैंने अपने आप को संभाला और जो मेरा सपना था टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री बनाने का, एकदम से चकनाचूर। मैं अपने आप को संभालते हुए, मेरी 3 बहनें हैं, मेरा परिवार, अब इनको सपोर्ट करना है, और मैंने अपने हायर स्टडीज के इरादे छोड़ दिए और सोचा अब करना क्या है। उस समय मेरे पास कुछ पैसे थे और एक साइकिल थी। मैंने चलो ठीक है, कुछ करते हैं। तो मैं उन पैसों में से अगरबत्तियां खरीदी, साइकिल थी, थैले में भर के शहर से दूर छोटे छोटे गांव में, छोटी छोटी गलियों में और छोटे छोटे व्यापारियों के पास जाके, क्योंकि ना मेरे पास कोई व्यापार का अनुभव, ना कोई सेल्समैनशिप, ना मेरे पास कोई डिग्री, ना कोई टाइटल, मैं अपना काम कुछ ना कुछ तो करना था, करते गया। कुछ लोगों ने मेरा प्रोडक्ट खरीदा, कुछ ने रिजेक्ट किया। ऐसे दिन, महीने, साल बीतते गए। मैं अपने आप से खुश नहीं था, क्योंकि खर्चे बहुत थे, कमा नहीं पा रहा था मैं। एक दिन एक ऐसे घटना हुई कि मैं एक दुकानदार के पास गया, उसके पास ऑलरेडी 3-4 कस्टमर थे। वो जब उनको कस्टमर माल लेके वो दुकानदार फ्री हुआ, धीरे से मैं बोला, भैया मेरा अगरबत्ती आप खरीदेंगे? उसने इतनी बेरहमी से धुतकार दिया, जा, नहीं चाहिए तेरा माल। बहुत दुख हुआ। मैं उस दुकान से बाहर निकल के खड़ा रहा। थोड़ी देर में देखता हूं कि एक दूसरा सेल्समैन आया उसी दुकानदार के पास, और वो अपना अगरबत्ती बेच पाया। मैं देख रहा था, जैसे ही वो सेल्समैन बाहर आया, मैंने, भैया आपने ये कैसा किया? उसने मेरे को ऊपर से नीचे तक देखा, बोला, धंधा करना है? धंधा करना है तो पहले बोलना सीखो। ऐसा लगा कि किसी ने जोरदार तमाचा मेरे गाल पे मारा हो। बहुत दुख हुआ, दिल को जैसे तीर लग गई। तब मेरे को समझ में आई, मेरे प्रोडक्ट में कमी नहीं है, सिर्फ मुझे ये तरीका नहीं आता बोलने की। उस दिन मैंने ठाना, अब तो बस इसको सीखना ही है। दिन रात मेहनत जारी थी। देश के बहुत बड़े बड़े लोगों के साथ मैं उनका सुनता गया, अर्थव्यवस्था के बारे में, और आध्यात्मिक लोगों के साथ मैं सुनता गया और सीखता गया। सिर्फ अपने आप पे फोकस करना है और अपने जीवन को और बेहतर बनाना है। इसी क्रम में और मेहनत करने लगा। वो दिन और आज का दिन जब मैं अपने आप को देखता हूं, तो जमीन आसमान का मैं अपने अंदर में परिवर्तन अनुभव कर रहा हूं। उस दिन मैं अगरबत्ती 500 रुपए की नहीं बेच पा रहा था। आज मेरा सालाना टर्नओवर 450 लाख रुपया है। मैंने अब अपना प्रोडक्ट नहीं बेचता, मैं दुकानदारों के साथ अच्छा संबंध बनाता कम्युनिकेशन के जरिए। और कम्युनिकेशन सिर्फ बोलना नहीं है, तरीका और अपने बॉडी लैंग्वेज के साथ आंख से आंख मिला के उनके साथ संबंध बना के अच्छा रैपो बनाते हुए, दिल से उनसे जुड़ते हुए उनकी हर समस्याओं को समाधान देता रहा। ऐसे करते करते मेरा माल ऑटोमेटिक बिकता गया। आज देश के बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियों के साथ मेरा संबंध है, जैसे कि हल्दीराम्स, एवरेस्ट मसाला, पीतांबरी, मोक्ष अगरबत्ती, विप्रो, गाला, दावत बासमती राइस। हर क्षेत्र में मैंने अपना नेटवर्किंग बढ़ाया, जिससे मेरा इकोसिस्टम बढ़ा और मेरा रेवेन्यू बढ़ा। क्योंकि मुझे अपने पे फोकस करना था और अपने से जीतना था। मेरे को एक बहुत अजीज व्यक्ति जो आज नहीं है संसार में, उनकी बात याद आती है। एक सोच थी, एक सपना था, हर एक को आवाज दो, हर बंद द्वार खोल दो, बोले हर कोई, बड़े हर कोई। ये मेरे को इतना इंस्पायर किया। बस आज आपके सामने मैं बोल पा रहा हूं। मेरी कोई औकात नहीं है, मेरी एजुकेशन जो है 10th स्टैंडर्ड है। और मैं जानता हूं कि इस रूम में जो भी बैठे हैं सब मुझसे ज्यादा पढ़े हुए हैं। बहुत अच्छा लगा आपके साथ बात करते हुए। और मैं एक ही बात कहना चाहूंगा, अब अपने अधूरे अल्फाजों को आवाज दो, अधूरे अल्फाजों को आवाज दो, आपकी आवाज को पहचान दो, क्योंकि यही आपकी पहचान है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद युक्ति जी, आपने मुझे बहुत कुछ सिखाया है। इतना परमात्मा ने मुझे दिया है जिसकी मैं मेरी औकात ही नहीं थी। थैंक यू, थैंक यू, थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, Vinod, Shivani ji. You are truly inspirational, actually. So now I would like to invite Yukti. Yukti, for your feed forward, please.
Okay. Emotional, right? How many of you are feeling emotional? Give me emotional in the chat. Are we feeling emotional? I'm very emotional listening to what Vinod has shared. You know, अक्सर कहा जाता है कि एक अच्छे स्टोरी टेलर को इमोशंस कनेक्ट करने चाहिए अपने ऑडियंस के साथ। आप वो इमोशनल कनेक्ट इस्टेब्लिश कीजिए, लेकिन बहुत मुश्किल है अपनी लाइफ के कुछ ऐसे मोमेंट्स शेयर करना जो आज की डेट में भी, आज तक भी आपको इमोशनली डिस्टर्ब कर सकते हैं। उन इमोशंस को, उन लम्हों को याद करना और शेयर करना, ये अपने आप में ही बहुत बड़ी बात है, राइट? तो वो उसके लिए एक वो विलिंगनेस चाहिए टू सर्व, कि शायद इस कहानी से कोई अपनी एक कहानी लिख पाएगा, इसलिए मैं वो कहानी शेयर करना चाहता हूँ। वो एक जो थॉट है, दैट इज व्हाट वाज रिफ्लेक्टेड इन द वे यू डिलीवर्ड टुडे, विनोद। ब्यूटीफुल, बिल्कुल दिल को छू जाने वाली डिलीवरी थी ये, क्योंकि वो जो कंटेंट था ना, वो कहीं से किताबों से नहीं लिया गया है, वो आपकी जिंदगी से आपने वो कंटेंट को इस तरीके से शेयर किया है कि हम सब कुछ ना कुछ सीख कर जा रहे हैं आपकी टॉक से। सो वेरी वेरी नाइसली डन, वेरी गुड ओपनिंग। योर स्क्रीन प्रेजेंस, अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग एवरीबॉडी मस्ट लर्न इज स्क्रीन प्रेजेंस। स्क्रीन प्रेजेंस मतलब क्या? फ्रेमिंग। लुक एट हिज फ्रेम, राइट? क्लियर बैकग्राउंड इन द सेंटर टिल हिज टॉर्सो, ये सारी चीजें बहुत मैटर करती हैं। इन सबका इम्पैक्ट से सीधा ताल्लुक है आप कैसे फ्रेम करते हैं अपने आप को जब आप स्क्रीन पर आते हैं। आप क्या कपड़े पहनना पसंद करते हैं? हाउ डू यू अपीयर, हाउ डू यू प्रेजेंट योर सेल्फ, आर यू सीरियस अबाउट दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी? ऑल दैट रिफ्लेक्ट्स इन द वे यू शो अप। योर अपीयरेंस इज अ वेरी बिग पार्ट ऑफ योर स्टेज प्रेजेंस, योर स्क्रीन प्रेजेंस। इमोशनल कनेक्शन, लैंग्वेज पे कंट्रोल। अगर हिंदी बोले तो हिंदी पे कंट्रोल होना चाहिए, अगर हिंदी बोले, इंग्लिश बोले तो इंग्लिश fluent होना चाहिए। Whatever language you choose, you need to have fluency in that language, and that is what you demonstrated very well, Vinod. I think, see, there are two things, okay? One is called as a content structure. The other thing is a sentence structure. right? Your content structure is perfect now. Sentence structure is the feed forward. क्योंकि कहीं कहीं पर सेंटेंस आधा अधूरा रह जाता है बीच में, फिर आप थोड़ा सा आगे पीछे हो जाते हैं उस सेंटेंस के, कंटेंट सही फ्लो हो रहा है, वो सेंटेंस बीच में थोड़ा सा आगे पीछे होने लगता है, कहीं पर ड्रॉप हो जाता है और आप कोई और बात करने लगते हैं. इट इज नॉट lack of flow, it is just lack of sentence structure, which for me I think would be the next step for you. And also movement. So this is not movement. This movement will make the other person feel a little too comfortable. तो वो जैसे I explain it in the class also. जब बच्चे को सुलाना होता है तो हम ऐसे ऐसे एक ही मूवमेंट देते रहते हैं ना, तो उसका दिमाग थोड़ा सा रिलैक्स हो जाता है, बच्चा सो जाता है. सो हम ऑडियंस को सुलाना नहीं चाहते हैं, उनको जगाना चाहते हैं. तो वो मूवमेंट को हमें बड़ा कॉन्शियसली यूज करना है, और वो ऑफलाइन ऑन स्टेज करना ज्यादा आसान है, वर्चुअली इतना आसान नहीं है, लेकिन ये भी सीखा जा सकता है. हमने कुछ हद तक इसको क्लास में भी कवर किया है, एंड आई थिंक फॉर यू दैट वुड बी द next step. If we can consciously bring in some more movement, some more structure in the sentences, rest everything is absolutely going for you. Very well done, Vinod. Very well done. Right, before I share the tip, right, another trait that you need to have as a world-class speaker, I want to see how many people are paying full attention. Right, Aparna? Should we ask them a question in the chat? How many traits have I already shared? I told you I'm going to share 7 traits today. Before I bring in Tanvi and Sagar for their expert views, I want to check if you are ready for the next trait. How many have I shared? Give me the number in the chat. 5, 4. Okay, let's have some more numbers in the chat. Have I shared 3? What is the right answer? I have already shared 4 traits. And what are these 4 traits? Can anybody tell me very quickly? Right answer. Soumya, Shiv Shankar, right answer. What are the 4 traits? Then only I can share the 5th one. Hana, right? This is surprise test. Okay, I love surprise tests. So tell me, confidence, yes. And awareness, authentic. And what's the 4th one?
Storytelling.
Storytelling. Absolutely right. We know that aap cheating mat karo. Don't prompt the right answer. Okay, with that right answer, here is the next trait. The next trait is conciseness. What is conciseness? Being able to deliver your point within the stipulated time. You were given 10 minutes. Could you give that point out within the 10 minutes? If you could, you were concise. क्या होता है, कभी कभी हम बात को काफी खींच देते हैं, राइट? कुछ लोग होते हैं जो पैराग्राफ्स में बात करते हैं. Have you met such people? Give me I in the chat. Have you met somebody like that? Say I have, say I in the chat. Who will talk and they'll talk in paragraphs और आपको समझ नहीं आता है क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं. फिर आप उनसे पूछते कभी कभी आप कहना क्या चाह रहे हो, because it's just going on and on and on and they're not coming to the point. Coming to the point is a very important skill a speaker has to learn, and sticking to that point. There are lots of things that you can talk about, but you can't cover everything in that 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes that you're given. How do you structure the content within the time given to you? That is conciseness. So a tip that I want to share with you all is to use what we call as a power of 3. Think of 3 main ideas you want to share and go from one to the other and then to the third, and then see if you can do a recap at the end. Don't try to share everything you know. 3 key ideas which can help your audience. Hence, knowing the audience is the key. Very, very important to know what will be of value for your audience. Are you all receiving value in this program? We're now at almost ending this program. We have just a few more speakers lined up. Have you received some value already? Give me value in the chat. Are you taking back some value? Yeah, let's have some value. Yeah, San, you're getting some value. Bhagisha, you're getting value, right? Yeah, Tech 2, you're getting some value. How are you getting value is because your audience, your speakers have done that homework to understand you all, your audience. They asked us 20 questions so that they prepare their content that can offer value to you. So that's the next trait with which let's bring in our jury for their feed forward for Vinod.
Yeah, so let me invite Mr. Sagar.
Thank you, Vinodji, for that emotional journey. You started with a very strong statement saying just focus on yourself as an introduction to your talk. And you also ended with the same statement, just focus on yourself. As a feed forward, I can give you one technical input. Currently, you're having those lines coming is because of your FPS not being aligned with your LED. फ्रेम्स पर सेकेंड, आपके कैमरा का फ्रेम्स पर सेकेंड 60 होगा, आपके एलईडी का शायद 30 होगा. तो इसके लिए अगर आप 2-3 बार उसको बंद चालू करोगे तो वो क्लीन हो जाएगा. और यू कैन प्ले अराउंड विद द लाइट्स लाइक दिस एंड इट विल गो ऑफ ऑटोमेटिकली. उसके लिए सुधार करना नहीं पड़ेगा, बट इट विल बी अ वेरी गुड thing to do because it will have less distractions. A feed forward is you started when you were in the 10th standard. Your dad had a problem. What did you do to solve that problem? What was the end of the story? What was the connect? What happened? जहाँ से आपने शुरुआत की उसका रिजल्ट क्या हुआ? So you could have ended, or I could have just added saying within a span of 3 months या 3 महीने में, जिस दिन से मैंने वो बात की उसके 3 महीने में मैंने पिताजी के हाथ में 5 लाख रुपए दे दिए और उनका जो कर्जा था वो उतर गया. Something of that sort. So what would have happened is you could have actually built the connection and proved it to us that when you focus on yourself, you can fight the world. Right? Second, you could have also brought an angle of 2-3 people saying the one that you said, like पहले बोलना सीखो. Others would have said पहले ये कर, पहले वो कर, and multiple failures that people would have highlighted. And then you said मैंने किसी की बातों पे ध्यान नहीं दिया, मैंने खुद पे ध्यान दिया, मैंने खुद को grow किया. So when you keep emphasizing on focus on yourself, which was a key message, it will be sticky. People will remember that. And then people will remember you for that. But आपके emotions absolutely bang on. Because I still remember you started with the story, you were smiling. I was actually visualizing you opening the door and you being sad. Because आप हंसते हंसते गए and then you said मैं दरवाजा खोला and tuck, you went to emotions. You actually literally took us in the room. I could see your parents in the room and I could visualize myself with you standing at the door. And that is a trait of a powerful speaker. So kudos to your emotions. You actually played it very well. Thank you so much. Rest of the things I'll put it in the notebook that I'm supposed to give it to you. The last thing is आपने 1 मिनट और 20 सेकंड फिर भी छोड़ दिए थे, जैसे मैंने भी मेरे छोड़े थे. So you also left some time which you could have actually used and taken advantage of that. Done? Thank you so much and have fun.
Thank you, Jitri.
So now over to you, Tanvi.
Yes, thank you for that. Vinod ji, what a performance. Kya baat hai, like hats off to you. I was hooked. I think you're a brilliant storyteller. I agree with everything that Sagar said. My only 2 cents to make this the next level performance is audience engagement. It became a one-sided story. It had all great ingredients, visual metaphors and everything. But you had opportunity. Especially that moment of realization कि अभी good news देने का तो फायदा नहीं है. It is what it is. You could have asked your audience something. Has it ever happened to you that you wanted to do something in life and life had other plans? It's how you bring the audience into your story. We are there with you. But by doing this one reflective question, your story becomes their moment of reflection. And then you've hooked them. Right? So whenever you have opportunities like this, which are emotionally gravitational, ask a reflective question to your audience. These are golden milestones in the art of public speaking. You don't want to let them go. Also, it's a loss. We say leaving money on the table. This is leaving emotions on the table. An emotional hook that you want to close with your audience happens in moments like these. Yeah, so that's my only 2 cents, but I absolutely loved your performance and try doing this more audience engagement, asking questions or giving them something. You give them something very simple, right? Focus on yourself. Correct? But apart from that, if they have to go and do something different in their life, what is that to do that you want them to do? I always leave, these 3 things with every speaker that is learning this art. You should have 3 things that you want your audience to do. You want them to think differently about something, or do something differently, or feel something differently. Correct? एक से तो चालू करना ही है. And if you can figure out the way to do all three for your audience, that's when they will follow you as their North Star. All right. I hope that helps and all the very best.
Thank you. Thank you, Ji.
Yeah. Now, before we move on to our final two speakers, let's invite any of our jury members to give another short session. And I request Tanvi to give a small session on key public speaking skill.
Okay, key public speaking skill. Wow. I really want to share this one realization that I've had in my life. Yeah, impromptu for Tanvi, exactly. One of the most important realizations I have had as a speaker is that it is never about you. And like I said earlier, early on in my career, I made the mistake of leading and speaking from my ego, thinking that I am the subject matter expert. I am here for a reason. And 9 out of 10 times, I realized that none of those talks landed the way I wanted them to and got me what I wanted out of it. It felt great to be on that stage. But when I shifted my perspective of showing up for my audience with absolute unapologetic authenticity, that today I wear it as like my badge of honor. Yeah. Another thing I learned very late in my life was to tell stories. And I'm still learning. I'm very fresh in this arena of telling stories or thinking like a storyteller. For the first 9 years in my career, I had a brand of speaking which was very inspirational because that's the kind of work I do in the industry. So I've always been a very inspirational speaker. And I felt that while I'm sharing so much value, I was not able to connect with my audience at all. So today, if you've noticed, most of my feedback has been that, okay, everything is great, but story, but complete the story, but connect with your audience. Because I have made those mistakes for the first 9 years of being a speaker. And I don't want anyone beginning their journey to continue making those mistakes. Because the shift you start seeing in the way your audience responds to you based on your authenticity, based on the way you show up and just share your story with them. And also, I call it strategic vulnerability. It's great to be vulnerable. I think we all think that storytelling is equated to vulnerability, correct? We think that telling story makes us vulnerable. No, but think of it as strategic vulnerability. I remember, in fact, I shared this in the previous conclave Yukti had done. And there's a gentleman who was telling his story, and he was so vulnerable, he almost teared up on the stage. And I gave him this feedback in the end of it, saying that, listen, this may not happened day before yesterday for you, but it's still fresh in your soul. You've not healed from that. So what I've realized, and again, a lesson and insight from my mentor is that you always speak or teach from your scars, never from your wounds. So remember, the journey of detaching from the lesson or the situation or the crisis, whatever your Phoenix moment was, has to have happened. If it has not happened, please yet don't bring that story on the stage. Okay. And a lot of people, in fact, yesterday we had this very interesting session at PSAI where one of my fellow speaker members, she was speaking about something which was very personal and deeply moving for her. It was the loss of her mother. And it had happened, I think, over 10 years ago. But still, she almost teared up when she was talking about it. Right? And she's like, I'm speaking about it after a very long time in front of an audience. So in that case, if you've never spoken about it, if you're trying to speak about it, you don't know how emotional you will be or not be. Correct? Like for you, Vinod, you were emotional in that moment. It happened eons ago for you. But I don't know how many times you've told that story in different stages, etc. So the advice I give her is, if that's the case, practice telling this story in front of audiences or trust circles, we call it. So you get the emotion out of your system and you're able to tell the story with the gravity that it deserves instead of the emotion overwhelming the story. So if you'll have to tell stories which really make you feel vulnerable. Practice it in front of multiple audiences before you go and tell it on a stage. Yeah, I think that's the key message I want to leave you with. Practice it n number of times that you can have a healthy detachment with the story, but not come across as a cold, rehearsed performer telling the story. Because that huge shift of speaking and teaching from your scars and not your wounds is everything. And there are so many stories in my life which I can't even begin to share today because I have not healed those wounds. Sometime, someday, the world will hear it. But for now, I hope this helps all of you all to become more poised storytellers.
Thank you, Tanvi.
Thank you. Do I have more time left? I can go on.
We do have
We
time
can
if you are
give you
willing to
time in
share.
the later part of the day.
Yeah, now let's get back to our speakers. Our next speaker is a great example of a modern innovator. From fixing bugs at work to striking the right notes in music, he's a proof that great engineers don't just code, they innovate. Agnideep Bagchi is a senior software engineer at Groupon, where he builds his high-scale systems and mentors his team. He is also a talented musician. Today he is here to share a secret many engineers overlook: the power of communication in innovation. Please welcome Agnideep Bagchi, who will share his insights on Speak to Innovate, the hidden superpower of successful engineers. Agnideep Bagchi, the stage is all yours.
Good evening, everyone. Once I was told that engineers are for built to machines or might be softwares, but not any kind of movement. And that particular message was stuck in my mind for a long time until some bigger truth was not came into me as an insight. And today I want to share that with you. Hi, I am Agnideep. And today I want to share that why the communication is the main superpower for becoming a successful engineer. So it was a story of pre-COVID era. So in a particular Monday, I just reached out to my office with a lot of excitement because in that particular weekend, I have spent a lot of time only by fixing some bugs and great flaws inside the system, which was not assigned by my manager, by the way. And I took it as a kind of self-initiative. I want to prove inside in terms of the organization that how a great code should look like and why the entire team should follow it. I was very much excited. I showed it to manager. Manager thought it is great and invited the director. Everything was going according to my plan. And I know that whatever I have did, it will surprise him. But the actual surprise was waiting for me. He just told me that, well, Agnideep, I appreciate your hard work, what you did in the weekend. Can you tell me what the business value it can bring to the table? And I was, what? I am an engineer. I am supposed to write code. I don't care about the business. I am not a business person at all. Then what is that? And that particular moment was such kind of hurting moment for me. I felt very much unmotivated. I took a sick leave and went back to my home and just scrolling Instagram mindlessly. And at that time, I was got one of the older advertisement of iPod. Now, here, most of you are either in my age or might be older than me. So we have shared a lot of global events together. So I believe that this particular advertisement you have also seen a lot of years back, might be in some magazine or some banners or websites, etc. So can you please tell me in chat that if you are seeing this particular advertisement, how it is different from any other advertisement? Anything what is coming in your mind, could you please write in the chat? So the thing is, it is not the 5 GB memory. It is about 1000 songs in your pocket. And when I have just see that, it was kind of turnaround moment for me. I went back to the code, but I was sure. Is this particular thing is showing anything to you? Can anyone just write in the chat that what you are getting only by seeing this particular slide? Any answer? And even if you are not going to get anything from that, could you please write it? Okay, a lot of you are saying that you are not getting anything. Firstly, I want to appreciate your honesty because sometimes it also takes courage to inform in public that I don't know that. And exactly that happened at that day. What was I was showing, in my understanding, that was the greatest thing in the world, but most of our leaders were not able to get what I was saying. And that was the turning point also when I had to start to think in a different way. So like, instead of saying that by using my optimization, the latency of an API will be reduced by more than 70%, we can just imagine that you are commuting from your office to your home and it is taking 10 minutes of time. And if you are using my solutions, it will be reduced to 3 minutes only, which means you are able to save 7 minutes in every day. Definitely. At the initial stage, there is a cost and there will be some pain point, but it will be helping you in the long term. And that time I was become curious about this particular topic. I was also checking that whether whatever I am thinking, it is just a kind of random thought or any data can support my it. I have seen that there is a study by Stanford, which is saying that if we have some engineers who are great communicators, there are more than 3x chance to become for them to be a leader. And also, there are more than 50% of chance for cross-functional innovation success rate if we make a very clear articulation of the problem statement. And that was the actual evolutionary moment for me. Because I was never the loudest voice in the room, especially I was a very shy person. But what was happening? I was able to identify the patterns. I was able to identify some of the glitches before it was reported by our end users, which can help us. And I just try to make all of those particular problems point down and make the articulation. And also try to understand that what is the major reason why we are not thinking it is a big thing. Why generally as an engineer, we have a tendency to look back or look down to the communication thing. And my understanding is that generally as an engineer, we are very much obsessed with the real world problem. And most of the cases, the real world problem means either they're purely engineering problems or might be some business problems which should be solved using engineering methods. But it can be shown in a different way also. It can be defining scope, and it is also becoming very important today because we are embracing agility in over shipping everything at a glance. It can be brainstorming great ideas and also sometimes merging two great ideas to making a better idea. It can be making the alignment with team, stakeholders, and leadership. And to understand everyone by proper articulation that why that particular approach will be helping for everyone. And the last but not least, effective collaboration and negotiation. And for all of these points, we have one common solution, which is called communication. And that is how the superpower is getting activated on me. Whenever I am getting any kind of communication, which might be inside in boardroom meeting or might be with my friends and family. First, I started to think and asking myself, am I talking in terms of gigabyte or it is nothing but 8,000 songs in your pocket? Because when we choose the second one, it brings the clarity. And when the clarity comes, the innovations are not just staying in our brain, it becomes the reality. It comes into the path. And when everyone, engineers, leaders, and the dreamers are chasing the clarity over everything, over any kind of technical jargon, that time we are not able to ship the great product. We are also able to shape and make a greater future. And that's why today I want to invite all of you. Let's take this communication very seriously because we can make our world a better, we can make a better future for the entire humankind. Thank you.
Thank you, Agnideep, for that informative session. I'll quickly bring in Yukti ma'am for feedforward.
Thank you so much, Satish. And thank you, Agnideep, for nailing it today. I have to show you their videos before they got on with this learning. And that's going to come your way. It's a surprise for the speakers as well. But I want you to get a glimpse of how structured learning can help you to get to your next level. You will realize that even today, it's not a competition we are holding between speakers, by the way, because all of them have their own qualities, their own strengths. And what's important and a common goal for each one is to get to their next level. Do we have a next level for Sagar? I'm sure he'll say a big yes to that, right? Like Tanvi knows she has another level and she shared that. She's saying, I'm new in storytelling. And you listen to the kind of feedback they're giving, and yet they know that this is work in progress. So never ever put yourself against other speakers and evaluate how well you speak. Always go back to your previous videos, your own performances, and see how far you have come. And you have come quite far, my friend. You did a very, very good job today, Agnideep. Smooth slide sharing, very good slides, very aptly used, not too many, not unnecessary, just enough to add to what you were sharing as your message. Good storytelling, very good engagement with audience as well. In fact, I was thinking, what do I say for feed forward? Let Tanvi and Sagar take care of that. Okay, but just one quick point that I want to make is a little more work on grammar. I'm not talking about diction because, India is a beautiful country. There are so many different cultures in this country. And so we all have a very peculiar diction, right? That reflects our culture. And that's okay. While you can try to neutralize the accent, like not change it, but neutralize so that it's easily understood by more and more people, grammar cannot go wrong, right? So I think grammar is where we need a little more focus. For example, when you said, that day, I have this thing happening, or that day, I am thinking, I was thinking, because it was that day. So just those finer points, Agnideep, if you want to go back to the recording, pick it up yourself and you will fix it on your own. You don't need any further input on that point. So, and on that note, I will quickly share one more trait, the sixth trait, before we invite Tanvi and Sagar to add their feed forward. How many of you want to know the sixth trait? Give me BIO in the chat. Give me BIO. Bring it on. There are 5 that I have shared already. And there is a 6th one, which is very nicely demonstrated by Agnideep in his speech. And that is varied delivery. Now, what is varied delivery? Very quickly, I'll explain to you. As speakers, we have to be comfortable with different formats. One format is online versus offline. Another format is using aids like PowerPoint, how well he used it. Did it accentuate his message? Give me yes in the chat if you felt that slides helped. And at the same time, they were not distracting. He was leading the slides. The slides were not leading him. That is the power of visual aids. You can have more. You can use pen as a prop and use it as a metaphor. And connect your message with what the pen stands for. Every time I see the pen, I will be reminded of the message you attached with it. This is also varied delivery, right? Anything that breaks the monotony of one person just talking. That's a varied delivery. Mind map could be a varied delivery, right? Role play is a varied delivery. A little bit of enacting your messages, that's a varied delivery. So bring in small elements of different formats, and that just creates a lot more engagement and completes the entire package. So well done today, Nidhi. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Over to you, Tanvi and Sagar.
Yeah. Let's bring in Tanvi.
Yes. Hi, Agnideep. Great presentation. Really didn't expect it to be so smooth and so engaging. I really agree with you, Pri. The variety that we saw with your vocal delivery, I think I loved it absolutely compared to everyone else's performances today. And again, this is not a competition, but it's for everyone to learn that, while in the same boat, we can do this. And this is how engaging our vocal craft has to be when we speak. It doesn't matter if it's online or offline. Grammar takes time to be aware of the mistakes we are making. Because if you don't have a reflection of a person who knows better and who can correct you, you giving self-assessment to yourself by seeing your own videos is not going to help. Let me just put that on the table. So you will have to have an accountability partner. That's the point. To work on your grammar with you, to work on your pronunciations with you, to work on your sentence construction with you. Because if you're doing everything else very well, but your foundation or building blocks of your performance and your content is not matching, so then that is over here, for example, and the other things you're doing is over here, right? So this has to be at least on the same page. You did a lot of things which were here, but this was over here. So while this stays here, slowly, this comes here. Of course, this also keeps on going up. You have to then grow parallelly across all dimensions. There are like 10 dimensions of public speaking. Your voice craft is just one of them. Okay. The most important one for you today that I'm leaving behind with you is your speech craft. How you craft your content, the strategy behind speaking, why you're saying what you're saying. I love the metaphor that you did with lead or speak with results. Correct? You said it's not about the features and benefits of the product that were advertised, it's the results. Yep. I wish it just came out a little more clearly by the end of it. Like you could have, I'm going to take this feed forward from Sagar. I'm sure he would have come to that. End your story. What happened ultimately? Correct? Like we were left in the dark. Always end your story. Even if it's by design, you're ending it at the end of your entire talk, but end it. Your audience wants to know what was the shift transformation that you went through. Or else, what is the moral of the story? Correct? You're just telling a story without a closure. Remember, it's great to hook the audience with an open-ended story, but it's terrible speaker etiquette to leave them hanging perpetually. As someone in the audience, if you're able to hook me, because I always want to know what happened. Like an unanswered question is an itch in my brain in the audience. So you always want to have that itch, but also satiate the itch at the end of your talk. Don't leave it hanging. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents for you.
Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah, Sagar, please share your thoughts.
Hi, Agnideep. So this is from one engineer coming to the another engineer. And just to complete what Yukti and Tanvi both said for everyone, I'll just give one simple metaphor for everyone to always recall. Whenever you're trying to compare yourself with others, look at your hand. None of your fingers are same. If God has not given you same fingers, no two people can be same speakers. So just enjoy, have your own journey. And whenever you think that I'm not better than XYZ, just look at your fingers and say, oh, they are not same. How can I be? So chill. It's okay. Right? Now coming for the feed forward, your slides were good. You used a better technology than others because you were an engineer. But you forgot that few things were missing behind you. So whenever you're using this kind of slides, this kind of technology, mark the box where you're going to fit yourself based on the size, because Zoom also allows you to resize yourself, and leave that slide blank. Leave that portion blank, right? Because when you were showing the 4 things, the 4th one was behind your back, right? That's one. Second, when you talked about 5 GB versus 1000 songs, like Tanvi said, what changed in your slide? What was the pitch that you gave after maybe 1 day, 2 day, or 1 week or looking at that ad? And how did that pitch got converted to a business idea, and what did you do? And you gave good Stanford references, which were brilliant, because that gave me confidence saying, oh, he's talking sense. He's making sense. He's answering my questions. He's doing this. He's doing that. So brilliant thing. And to engage people more like you did in the last thing, you being a techie, you can actually use a Slido. So next time, try and use a Slido. You will also have something to take back, put it on LinkedIn, because I always say that, like Yukti said in the start, right? Jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. Now, for you to take that back, you could have said, this is the one word or one thought which people told me after they heard my talk, and you put it on the LinkedIn as a word cloud. You have a testimonial right there. And so many people on LinkedIn will know that, oh, you gave a public speaking talk on XYZ and people loved it. Oh, congratulations. And then you're attracting the right energy back to you. So kudos, and these were my feet forward for the next time you can actually use them. And even you can go one step forward. Sorry, I just recalled one more point. Let's say you don't want to finish your story. Create a PDF, keep it with you, and you say, do you actually want to know how did I use the skills that I learned and turn the table to convert that code into a business proposal? If you're interested, just send me a hi on LinkedIn and I'll send you a PDF. So that way what happens is, how many people who are listening to you will connect with you as well. So you will actually stay connected with your audience. So you can use whichever way you want and have fun.
Thank you for the detailed feedback.
Thank you, Sagar. Thank you, Tanvi. Thank you, Yukti ma'am. So now comes to the finalist speaker of the day. So he is a great example of an expert who brings both skill and a human touch to his work. For over 8 years, he has been navigating the complex world of supply chain management at Amazon, mastering everything from last mile deliveries to large scale operations. When he is not solving the logistics puzzles, you can find him in the kitchen, cooking up a storm or listening to some classic rock. Today, he is going to share how the communication actually helps leaders in navigating the high-stakes situations. So please welcome our finalist speaker, Mr. Soumyaditya Baral, who will talk about crisis communication, public speaking when stakes are high. Over to you, Soumyaditya.
Right. Thank you, Aparna. And good evening, namaste, adab, and welcome to what is probably the most important, exciting, and fun-filled evening of my life. And I'm pretty sure everyone else who has presented till now. But then today is a Sunday, right? And Sundays, well, they're fun days, right? They even rhyme together. But there's one particular Sunday that is really special to me. 24th March 2020. Why? Any guesses? Anyone? No.
Lockdown.
Okay. Well, that was probably the last day that I, as a human being, knew what it meant to live without the fear of global mortal peril. And mortal peril not caused by oppression or conflict or annihilation, but by a microorganism. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about now. Because the very next day, on 25th March 2020, the Indian Ministry of Health and Welfare announced that indeed there is a world-destroying virus called coronavirus out of Wuhan, China, and it will destroy us unless we go ahead into lockdown immediately. And that's what we did. Sanitizer kharida, mask pehne, aur ghar pe baith gaye. And for the next 2.5 years that followed, probably the most testing times of human history. Right? But there was something even more fascinating about those 2.5 years. We survived. Most importantly, we had this crazy dedication and even some would say obsession to not stop communicating. The face-to-face was disrupted, right? But we embraced the digital like that, like second nature. And here we are today in a conclave being executed pan-India digitally without any problem, right? And that's something less of a feat, right? Most importantly, we saw a paradigm shift happening in public communication. The way public speaking happens, because COVID probably rewrote every playbook there was in terms of public communication, right? And that's what we are going to look into a little bit today. Crisis communication. Public speaking when the stakes are high, right? Well, I say crisis because COVID was certainly a crisis. But it's not the only type of crisis that we kind of encounter on a daily basis. Some even, in fact, on a daily basis. Let's look at a few. Some of the common crises that we encounter: first, natural disasters, very common, floods, earthquakes, right? Then you have, of course, public health emergencies, COVID being an example. Economic collapse, the Great Depression of United States of America in 1984, right? Geopolitical conflicts, war, India, Pakistan, Russia, Ukraine, right? Factory accidents, Bhopal gas tragedy. And lastly, ransomware. This is the new kind of crisis that we have been facing, right? But then I'm sure you would be wondering, what has all of this got to do with public speaking, right? Well, trust me, like you, I was also thinking about the same thing at least almost 5 years ago. Let me tell you a story. Right about that same time, March 2020, I got another piece of disconcerting news along with COVID, that my mother was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer. So stage 1, and we were incredibly lucky, very lucky, but she still needed painful chemotherapy treatment. And to help her through that, me and my sister moved back to hometown for an entire year. And during that time, the emotion or thought in my mind was that, why is my family going through so much pain? And then after that, for about 4 months, I returned back to Bangalore. And during that time, I operated solely out of delivery stations and warehouses. And my perspective was thrown out of the window. And I'm sure if I ask everyone here as a customer, nobody will be able to tell me if they even think for 1 second what goes on behind the scenes of you receiving that box. Tell me in the chat, do you ever think of it? Anyone? No, right? In fact, I was surprised because I was in the company, but I still didn't know what goes on. Because I saw these delivery agents and warehouse workers slog away in almost 40-degree heat, wearing PPEs, masks, getting almost blistered just to bring that smile, right? The slog behind the smile, right? And I was surprised how they did it day on day, consistently, without even breaking a sweat. And I realized it was not just the pay slip that motivated them. It was a 9 a.m. mandatory call that was held all throughout the entire duration of COVID. And it was kind of arranged at a site, at a cluster, at a national level, with different agendas every day, but with one agenda being in common, which is instilling direction for the day, for the future, and instilling hope and courage. And I can tell you, most leaders did the bare minimum. but the ones that did it marvelously, the numbers showed. And at that very same time, I also started noticing this very stark difference in world leaders, world speakers. I thought everybody was the same because they're all leaders, right? But I saw this difference. Let me show you a few examples. Dr. Ashley Bloomfield, right? And then Lee Hsien Loong, Prime Minister of Singapore and Director of Health, New Zealand. Very good speakers, right? In fact, they went ahead and told the public about the dire times that we are going to see. But they made sure they had a direction in their speech and they instilled hope. On the other hand, there were the bad, Dr. Tedros, Jair Bolsonaro. On one hand, Dr. Tedros went ahead and delayed vaccine deployments, and Jair Bolsonaro didn't even consider COVID to be a threat. He called it a flu. Then we had the really bad ones, right? Both of them, and I think Boris Johnson is pretty evident he didn't have a clue what is going on, right? And this is where I understood that there is some difference, right? But I still didn't know what it was. And 4.5 years had passed, and I was intrigued with this question, like, can these skills be really learned? Like, or they are genetic, like someone is born with it? Well, in the last 3 months, I got my answer. I got my answer because I understood that public speaking imbues certain skills in you that stay forever. And they literally those skills are, public speaking teaches us to be calm and confident. Public speaking teaches us to understand the audience, right? Reading the room, achieving message structure and clarity, right? Demonstrating non-verbal communication, body language, right? Showing empathy, that it is a service, not a competition. Demonstrating competence, credibility, and in the end, making it relevant. And the list goes on. There are many more. But these primarily constitute as an instrument that helps a leader to dissipate confusion. And I can tell you, crisis and confusion, they go hand in hand. Because during a crisis, there is abundance of 3 emotions: fear, grief, anger. And they are catalysts to confusion. And I can tell you, once you learn this, you will be able to dissipate or in fact manage confusion at a level you would not even believe you can do. And if you today embark on this journey, if you haven't done so, then you will realize that you will be facing a certain thing that I also faced, which is danger. Danger of not realizing the worth, danger of losing money, danger of not having time. And all those dangers are real. But the fear is a choice. And once you overcome the fear, you have opportunity. And coincidentally, the Chinese use 2 brushstrokes to write the word crisis. One brushstroke stands for danger, one for opportunity. Hence, during a crisis, we should always be aware of the danger, but always recognize the opportunity. And that's why today I would like to thank the entire team of SBY Academy for giving me this opportunity to face my fears, face my dangers, and possibly overcome it. And most importantly, a million thanks to Yukti ma'am for giving me this priceless gift. I'm going to use this to live, grow, and one day probably pass it on. Thank you, everyone. God bless everyone, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Aditya. Yeah, over to you, Yukti.
What am I telling myself as I hear him speak? I'm just saying, wow, again and again and again. Look at the stuff I have written here, okay? Movement, tick. Body language, tick. Modulation, tick. Screen presence, tick. Using examples, tick. Storytelling, tick. Good slides, tick. Power of 3, tick. It's an absolute tick in every single box, Soumya. What a moment you created for me as your coach. I'm just so proud In some time, I'm going to show you from where we started this journey with these 7 amazing speakers, and you will understand yourself how I'm feeling in this moment. Marvelous speech, very, very good attempt. Absolutely nothing that I have added in the other column of what can improve, except for just the word right, which comes with the flow. I catch myself doing that as well sometimes. And that's what we need to be a little more mindful of, to not repeatedly use a word which can come across as a filler. But I would absolutely call it as a 10 on 10. I think we're ending the conclave with a real bang. On that note, I want to hold on to the last trait that every speaker should have. Hint, hint. Soumya has demonstrated it already, but I will tell you what that last trait is. Before that, let's hear it from our other jury members.
Soumya, hi. Wow, what a way to end a fabulous evening, right? I was hooked onto your performance from the moment you started speaking. The power in your voice, your poise, your presence, your flow. It was absolutely flawless. And somewhere I was waiting that, okay, there could be a slip, there could be something. And it disappointed me in the loveliest way. It was such an awe-packed performance. And I don't know if you've done this before or not, but I really hope not. And this is one of your very first fabulous performances. And in case that is the case, it shows the kind of rehearsals that have gone into it to polish the content, the flow, the script, the delivery, including the presentation. Everything was so meticulously thought through and designed, and more importantly, rehearsed and delivered. I have no feed forward for you today. Except that one thing, focus on learning the next octave of your speaking skills is actually doing more stage time. Because I am so happy you stood and you delivered as well. But now it's actually do more stage time and try and not use any presentations. It's a challenge to yourself, right? It's just a challenge to yourself. Yeah, that would be unleashing your next level of speakership. Okay. All the very best for that.
Thank you, Tanvi.
That's already happening, Tanvi. To your point, he's part of our speakers tribe, which is a weekly practice we all do with EPSM graduates, and he's making sure he gets his stage time. Let me tell you that. And while he's at it, there are a lot more stages waiting for him. I'll ensure that happens, Soumya. You're so ready for it.
Thank you, Yukti ma'am. Million thanks to you.
So, yeah, Soumya Aditya, it was really, really awesome listening to you, and giving a feed forward is a challenge because you covered everything. What I loved about you as well was you also hooked on a mic. Not many people think about that, and that doesn't cost too much. But the minute you put that, the voice clarity that you have, the diction that you have changes, and that actually gives a lot of strength to the whole keynote or the speech that you give. So brilliant. What you did was really amazing. Uh, uh, a feed forward, because being an engineer and a Six Sigma, like you are into quality, I'm also into Six Sigma and an auditor myself for 18 years. The slides that you have were wonderful, but the text was too much to absorb, brother.
Okay.
So next time, if you want to have go without slides, that's the best one. Or in case if you want to have slides, ensure that you not have more than 4 or 5 points, because as human beings, 7, 8, 9, 10 points is like, looks amazing. I don't remember anything.
It was, in fact, the exact same point I was thinking the very second before I was starting presentation. Okay, I have a little too much content here.
Yeah, so that's where I said a quality from a quality person, because I saw that you're a quality manager. I've been into quality. I was heading quality for automotive for almost 16 years.
Okay.
So I can totally relate to what you're doing. So brilliant. That's the only point that I would give you as a feed forward. Otherwise, it was just fabulous, amazing. You connected very well with the leaders, the names that you took. You showed good, bad, ugly. You went into crisis, then you told confusion, and then you said confusion absolutely happens because you have fear, grief, and other stuff. I can actually go on and correlate to everything that you said, and I can remember at least 60% of your talk. So kudos.
Thank you for that, Sagar.
Fantastic, Soumya. I'm sure you're going to sleep very well, and you should because you've earned it.
Yes.
And so has every other speaker in the room today. You all have done a fabulous job. We are not done yet because you know what? It's important to know where did it all start from. How many of you would like to know or get a glimpse of how our speakers, from where have they started this journey? Give me in the chat if you would like to get a glimpse of that, and I'm sure my speakers also don't know what's coming next. So it's a little surprise for them. Wonderful, wonderful. So let's just get a glimpse of their journey. And in fact, like the first video that they shared, and you will be able to appreciate what methodical learning, conscious learning can do for us. Let's have a look. It's just 3 minutes, but a nice glimpse of what the journey has been for them.
One of my biggest challenges during my speech is the nervousness in front of the audience. And I have to work on this to overcome my nervousness. I would also like to develop the way of delivery.
I've been teaching for 25 years. After my graduation, I got married and I did all my further studies only after this marriage, like MA English Literature, B.Ed, M.Ed and MS Psychotherapy and Counseling. I did diploma in journalism.
Storytelling is very important because here I need to improve my style and my efficiency in storytelling and framing the story and the flow, making flow of the story. The second point is content, clarity, structure and flow are some points where I feel always I lack to improve. Third point is connection.
Namaste, good morning. I am Dr. Samir Pranspe. I have been practicing Ayurveda since 12 years in a village, Dapoli, named Sri Vallabh Ayurveda Ashram and Parnida Women Wellness Center. I am on mission to treat and transform 10 million middle-aged women above 40 years facing perimenopausal challenges with the help of holistic approach of Ayurveda to make them happy and healthy. To achieve this goal, this mission,
become a better public speaker, where I want to run all of the boardroom meetings more effectively, especially using persuasive communication so that I can influence for the decision making and also create a good rapport in the entire organization.
मैं चाहता हूं कि मैं अपने अनुभव को एक अच्छे स्टोरी टेलिंग में बढ़ाऊं और उसके बारे में ज़्यादा सीखूं ताकि मैं अपने ऑडियंस को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा वैल्यू दे पाऊं.
Storytelling, conciseness, developing confidence and varied delivery. And lastly, I am not sure, but maybe authenticity also, wherein I need to also make my thoughts much more authentic.
Well, so did you capture all the uhs and ums, and did you see some blank moments here and there? Did you see some poker face expressions for a few people? A low audio, sometime also at a stage of mumbling. And you don't know what exactly they are saying. To be able to create that throw of voice, to be able to give structure to your content, to be able to take your message out to this world, you need to learn this art of public speaking. You heard doctors, government servants, engineers, teachers, business owners, senior executives in quality or any other function taking on the stage today, sharing one message for you all, that if you haven't yet signed up to improve your speaking skills, you're late already. And for that reason, the team and I decided to put out a bonus learning session for you all tomorrow. This is exclusively for those who joined us live today. So I'll be joined by Edmi once again, and I'm going to make time to be with you all for 1 more hour tomorrow at 7 o'clock, 7 to 8 p.m., where we want to share with you how to overcome this strong accent that we all have, how to get the right pronunciations, how to understand the principles that makes a speaker a great speaker, and what is the framework that can help you to develop more confidence. That's what we want to share with you. I'll be joined by Edmi. I want to quickly bring Edmi on the screen. Please put her in the spotlight with me. Edmi is the president of Public Speaking Association London. A great human being, a great giver, like Tanvi is, like Sagar, and I do my bit as a giver, and that's what connects us all, and that's what has kind of made us create our own tribe over here of speakers who are work in progress forever. So Edmi has agreed to take time out and join me tomorrow, 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and share with you a few very important lessons on pronunciation. Edmi, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your experiences, thoughts in the chat continuously. And of course, thanks for accepting our invitation to come back as a speaker tomorrow. Let's hear it from you. How was the experience of this evening for you today?
Oh, thank you, Yukti. I just want to say exactly what I said in the chat about what a brilliant session you have run today. You and your team, you brought together so many talented people, and every single speaker has touched my heart, really touched my heart. I have learned so much, I have grown, and I have become a better speaker thanks to you and your team. So thank you so much. What a wonderful afternoon spent so being connected and being with you all today. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, you and your team and every single speaker for really working on those speeches and making sure that we all learn something, we grow and we develop. Thank you.
Thank you. The honor is absolutely ours to have you here today, Edmi. And just so you know, she hasn't got the afternoon wrong. She said afternoon because it's afternoon in London. And that's where she's joining us from. So she would never make such a mistake. Just to let you know that that's a part of the world from where she connects with us to be a participant today, as much as she's, of course, willing to share whatever she can in the limited time we will have tomorrow. How many of you are excited to join us tomorrow? Are we doing this because you want to? Only then will it make sense, right? How many of you would want this? Get me excited in the chat if you would be excited to meet us again for an hour. Absolute bonus offering, because I love the energy you all created for my speakers, for all of us today. And without you all, this event would not have been half as much fun, right? So if you are excited, we are super excited to share some more on what can help you to become great speakers. More importantly, I want to share with you the method that has helped all these speakers come to the level where you saw them today. What is that method? That's what I will be talking about tomorrow. So before we conclude, may I please invite our amazing jury members, Tanvi and Sagar. You've added so much to today's evening. Thank you so much for every single comment. Did you notice how carefully they were listening to every speaker? And how valuable was every comment shared? So closing remarks from you, Tanvi, and then I'll come to you, Sagar.
Thank you, Yukti, for inviting me once again on this brilliant platform. It didn't even strike me for a second that it was a Sunday evening. Should I say yes? Should I say no? What if some plans come up? No, I'm definitely going to show up, support Yukti, and cheer everyone who's going to come and showcase their journey and evolution of their speakership. And it's something that I'm deeply passionate about. So I'm always here, have your back. And for every other speaker in the room, the journey has just begun. So continue the sadhana. I call it the sadhana of speaking because that's what it means for me. That's how I approach the art and craft of public speaking. And I'm sure each one of you moving forward will do the same. So all the very best in your respective journeys of your personal transcendence.
Thank you so much, Tanvi. It means a lot to have you a call away, not only as a friend, but also as a supporter for whatever I'm trying to create here with my 2 cents as I've been trying to put. This is our 9th batch. We have one more coming in, and another powerful conclave coming in some time. And the speakers are at another level, because that's the whole idea of keep upgrading the platform as much as we're also trying to uplift leaders to become better speakers. So thank you for joining us on this drive, Tanvi. Sagar, let's hear it from you.
So, yep, thank you so much for having me there. And I would leave everyone with three powerful words. Aim. Aim to become professional speakers. Aim to become givers. Now, what does aim mean? Be aware of your flaws, be aware of your strengths, be aware of what you can give to the world. And that awareness will help you to invest in the right direction in your sadhana, like Tanvi said, right? So invest not money, because money is just a material, but invest your time, energy, and emotions. And once you invest that, have the right motivation. Why are you on stage? Are you on stage for yourself, or are you on stage to make a difference in others from your learning, from your life, and give something back as a legacy to the world? So, three words, AIM. Next time when you aim, think about awareness, investment, and motivation.
Beautifully wrapped up, Sagar. Thank you so much for making time to join us. I want you to join me virtually to hand over the certificates that we have for our speakers. Let me ask our audience, do you think our speakers have earned the certificate today? Give me earned in the chat. Do you think they've earned it? Have they earned their certificate today with all the effort that they have put? Standing tall, receiving feedback, that in itself is not easy. It takes a lot of courage to do that, and a lot of humility to do that. And that's what all our speakers demonstrated today. So they've more than earned these certificates. Please join me as I bring on stage every single certificate. And while I do that, please bring all the speakers in the spotlight, Aparna. Let them join the stage with us. I would love to see all the speakers on the stage together. This is our stage in today's time. The virtual stage is the real stage. Please put your hands together to congratulate Agnideep Bakshi. Clap, clap, clap. Let's have some claps in the reaction. Put those reactions out on the screen, please. I want to see you all applauding for the effort Agnideep has put into himself to create a better version of who he is and who he wants to become. Great job, Agnideep. Many, many congratulations. Please join me to congratulate Dr. Sameer with that beautiful smile that Sameer has, and the smile that lights up everybody's heart when he talks about his passion, which, by the way, is the 7th trait that you need to develop. The 7th trait is passion. The passion that you feel when you talk about your message, when you take that message out to the world. Do you feel it yourself? Because if you don't, no one will. When you do, everyone does. And that is something that can be worked upon consciously, right? When we start this journey together with those who are truly committed, I spend a lot of time helping you understand what to unlearn and relearn about passion. It's a trait. It needs to be understood first, and then you need to learn how to bring that into your speech, into your delivery. And that's what Sameer did very well today. So congratulations, Sameer. Congratulations, Larry. Many, many congratulations. Being a Joint Commissioner GST, he's used to putting out instructions to people. And then he had the humility and willingness to sit as a student and listen to my instructions for him. And he followed them to the T. That's a mark of a good student. And you did very, very well, Ari. So, so proud of you. Please join me to congratulate Emocha, a coach who knows that any good coach needs to be a coachee forever. If you're not a coachee, you will be an irrelevant coach real soon. No matter how well you know your craft, you also need to remember that learning never stops. And when it does, your growth stops there, right? So keep learning. And that's what Emocha did when he stood up for this program. So great job done, Emocha. Hemlata, many, many congratulations, Hemlata. We are so, so proud of you for so many reasons. And the most important reason is the fact that you committed and you showed up. You delivered. And that's what matters more than anything else. So great job done, Hemlata. So proud of you. Please join me to congratulate Vinod. Say congratulations to all the speakers in the chat and keep applauding for them, guys. This was not an easy task, but let me tell you, it was a lot of fun. Did the speakers have fun? Yeah? Give me some fun emoji on the screen if my speakers had fun in the last 12 weeks. Soumya, he has absolutely juiced out every single session that I put forward. And let me tell you, all of them have attended all the sessions, making sure that every single minute of being live with me in those classes are made use of. Every single lesson was incorporated today. And are there more lessons to share? The answer is a yes, and will always be. But we have come quite far in this journey. And that's what tells us that we are ready to go the next mile. I am super happy, very, very proud of each and every one of you. And I would like to invite you all speakers as my special guests tomorrow at 7, when we are going to meet the rest of the audience and talk a little more about the method that you all have learned. And while we take them through the method, it will be very inspiring for us to hear from you on how was your experience of learning that method and applying it. In the interest of time, I'm going to hold back that very key message, which in itself is going to be a source of inspiration for tomorrow. How many of you would like to hear that? Give me in the chat. Would you like to hear these inspiring stories from our speakers tomorrow when they share how this entire journey has been for them, how learning this method has helped them to deliver the way they did today? I can't wait to hear that for sure. So thank you so much once again, everyone. And may I also bring on stage our MCs, Aparna and Satish. Please join us on the screen. What a fantastic job these two have done. Can we please clap for them? Some hearts, some applause. They have been working on it like how? Last 2 weeks, they have talked to each other more than they did in the last 2 years of knowing each other, trying to get that coordination, trying to get that virtual chemistry. You know, it takes a lot to be able to hold an event and weave it together. And that in itself is a new experience. So when you become a part of Speakers Tribe, you will get many such opportunities to play different roles. You know, how you need to speak as a panelist is different from how you speak as a moderator of a panel discussion. It's different how you MC, host an event. It's very different how you present as a speaker. All these roles will also create a little shift in the structure, the delivery. And all of this is within the purview of public speaking. The best way to learn is to put yourself out there, learn the method, and then practice it with the tribe. And that's what Satish and Aparna have done. Where are they? Are they hiding somewhere? Can we get them on the screen? Aparna, join us. Join us on the screen. Bring back the other speakers as well. Bring back everybody so that everyone can...
able to bring in everybody together, I think.
Okay. It's important that I see you both so that I can congratulate you for such a good attempt at it. Is it the first time you're hosting an event, Aparna?
Yes. And thank you so much for giving this opportunity, Yukti. This has been a wonderful platform. We have learned so many things, and we are here today just because of you. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You made me proud. I was never doubtful of the decision I'm making as I handed over the event to you and Satish, and you did so well. Satish, how was your experience?
It's indeed fabulous experience. It's the first time ever I did MC an event, that too for 3 hours. I avoid spotlight, but it's in good exposure today, and I'm liking it and looking forward for more such events. Thank you.
You deserve a spotlight. How many of you think he deserves a spotlight? Give me Satish in the chat if you think that he deserves to be in the spotlight. Because I keep telling him that he's not taking me seriously. Right? I think he will take you seriously if you all say that to him. He's more than ready for the spotlight. And that's why I wanted to do this for him today. Every speaker needs to earn a stage for themselves. Remember that, right? Money cannot make you buy a stage. You have to earn it. And you have to earn it with your intention to serve. The last message or learning that I want to put out as we conclude today's conclave is the fact that public speaking is people service. PS is PS. Public speaking is people service. You speak to serve. You don't speak for a standing ovation, because when you speak to serve, you automatically get a standing ovation. Do you agree? Can you agree in the chat? If you agree that when you're there to serve, rest everything follows. Even other opportunities follow, money follows. And I stand as a testimony of that. I never thought I will be a professional speaker who will get paid more than reasonably well, if I may say, for my time, for my ability to speak. And if that's happening today, it's a byproduct of the intention to serve. It's a byproduct. And that is what keeps us grounded and keeps our mindset aligned to bringing our best game for the audience. On that note, I want to thank the audience for being with us till the end of this conclave. And as you know, this is not the end of it at all. We are going to meet again tomorrow for a bonus extension where I want to share with you the method behind this magic. And I'll have Edmi share with you tips on how you can improve your enunciations and pronunciations. Before we conclude, it will be incomplete if I don't bring in my team. Where is the team, SBY? Because these are the people who do all the hard work. I do the easy job. You know, the easy job is to come here and hold the event, but they are the ones who create it at the back end. So Tanya, thank you so much for all your work. Dipashri, thank you so much for amazing work done. You always can make sure that no ball is ever dropped. You catch every ball, and I don't know how you do that, right? Fantastic job. Please give a big, big hug. And thanks to Tanya, to Dipashri, and to
Thank you.
These are these super women. Behind this woman you see here as your coach, nothing of what I can do is possible if I don't have these super women behind me. Thank you so much, Tanya and Dipashri. And our little Dia, she's not here right now, but she's another force to reckon with. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. On that note, we will call it a day, an evening, depending on which part of the world you're joining us from. And a big, big, big thank you for making this conclave such a huge success. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Let's continue learning. Let's continue growing. God bless.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
everyone.
you so much.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.